Good evening and welcome to this session of the live virtual coaching classes organized by the Board of Studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Today, we are going to look at another economic law, an economic law which again deals with foreign exchange, but in a different context. I'm sure you've already been exposed to the provisions of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, 1999-2000. Today, we are going to see the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010. FEMA deals with inflow and outflow of foreign exchange. In any way, see, ultimately Forex is governed by FEMA. Foreign Contribution Regulation Act is a kind of an act meant to protect the sovereignty of the Republic of India. We are a sovereign, India is a sovereign democratic republic. Sovereign means we are not under the control of any other country. Sovereign. So we have our own parliament, we make our own laws, we are not dependent on. We were once upon a time a colony or a dominion of the British Kingdom, British Kingdom. 1947, we got independence and we declared ourselves as sovereign. We are democratic. We are not ruled by a king. We are ruled by our elected own army, etc. So it is important for us to ensure that no foreign power or foreign country should infiltrate our country or in any way be a threat to our sovereignty. That is why this law is governed by the governing ministry. The central government, in this case, the appropriate central government is the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, up to now, you have seen, most of the laws that you've seen, I think almost all the laws that you have seen comes under the Ministry of Finance or the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. But this law is coming under the control of the Ministry of Home Affairs. So it is meant to protect the home affairs. See, there are two cases, home security and defense. So when there is a threat from outside, defense. When there is an infiltration by any way and from within India, people are creating problem, we have the Home Minister, the Home Security. So this comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay. So I see one person has put Vanakkam, which is way of Tamil greeting. Mr. K. Prashant. Thank you, sir. Welcome. So, as I mentioned to you, the preamble to the Indian Constitution defines India as a sovereign country. Meaning India has its own supreme law and is not a dominion or province of any other nation. They are independent of any kind of external intervention. Therefore, no other country or international body can infringe on India's sovereignty. One of the threats to the sovereignty of India could be through the transfer of funds from foreign sources as foreign contribution for any activities detrimental to the national interest. You see, what this could be, we have to define. It could be in any way. But whatever it is, when there is a threat to the sovereignty of India, we want to ensure that there is no threat to our sovereignty. How is it done? We are saying, look here, if somebody is sending money to India, we want to know why. Who is this gentleman? Who is this foreign source? Why is he sending to India? There are certain legitimate, acceptable purposes for which foreign contribution may be received. But anything other than that, no, prohibited. That is why there is a strict control on money coming into India. Please understand, money going out of India, you already studied. Money going out of India, you already studied. FEMA, current account transactions, capital account transaction. You know that, liberalized remittance scheme, up to $200,000. You do whatever you want. Take it out and give charity. Nobody is asking you. You take money out, we have no problem. But money is coming in. Why? For what? Who are you? Why are you? I mean, who you, not you? Who is that person who is taking this money? What is their motive? What are their activities? Ultimately, what are they trying to do? They may be showing that they are running a school, they are running some orphanage and all, but in reality, who are they? What is their ultimate goal? See, if they are genuine, then no problem, permission is given. But if there is any doubt on what they are doing, then under this law, the Ministry of Home Affairs can prohibit them from receiving foreign contribution. Now, again, relevance. As a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, why are you concerned with it? Basically, if you are in practice, and if, for example, I have in my practice about 40 or 50, it depends on it, keeps going, coming, some of them closed down, 40 or 50 NGOs, non-governmental organizations, in the form of trust, society, Section 8 companies and all that. Some of them I have myself formed, others came to me, they're big organizations, they come to me for audit. So in all these cases, they receive foreign contribution. So we have a lot of trusts which are doing a lot of good activities who come to us and they say, Mr. Srikanth, we are receiving foreign contribution. What is the procedure? No, at that time, I can't say bye-bye. I can't say, sir, I don't know all these things. I didn't get in the syllabus like that. Even if it is not in the syllabus, I have to study and answer it. I should be aware of it. But it so happens that they want to include it in the syllabus so that later on, if at all you are practicing and you have an NGO client, non-governmental organization. I say NGO because not necessarily a trust. It could be a society. It could be a Section 8 company also, whatever. So they will be getting foreign contribution. So this law you should be a little aware of. Otherwise, you might not be able to advise them. Okay, so we have to offer a whole suite, FCRA, registration under the Income Tax Act, compliance under the Income Tax Act, 10B, 11, carry forward of contribution, all that complete. It is a complete advisory. In fact, for your information, NGO is a specialization. NGO, non-governmental organization, is a kind of specialization. In Chennai, we have a very, very senior chartered accountant, for your information. His name is Mr. Kandasamy. Is Mr. Kandasamy, very famous chartered accountant. He has written a book on non-governmental organization, NPO, not-for-profit organizations, their law relating their issues. He's a very, very nice gentleman, very senior person. His daughter is also there along with him. And so very good friends of mine. And he is an authority on this topic. Sometimes when I have a doubt, I go consult him. Very nice, kind gentleman. He will always help me. Being a senior, he will help me. Sometimes, we have tricky situations where what is to be done like that. Especially when this law was amended, this FCRA was amended very restrictively. We'll discuss that. Now, people have got used to it and all that. When it came initially, when the amendment came initially, it was seen as a draconian provision. Because the earlier FCRA was different. Right? So it became as a draconian provision. But now we have understood what it is. But goal is they want to quarantine. They want to control entry of funds into India by way of contribution. Also, foreign hospitality. See, somebody goes abroad to a country, then he is received by that country and they provide free hospitality to him. Why are they doing it? What is the goal? Is he being indoctrinated into something and then coming back and trying to do? For example, internal threats to the sovereignty of India are there. Internal threats to the sovereignty of India by way of Naxalites. Okay, Maoists. Those of you who are from certain districts of Andhra Pradesh will understand what I'm talking about. Certain districts of Maharashtra, certain districts of Odisha, I should say, certain districts of Madhya Pradesh. That belt, which is the little Chambal Valley and all on this side. So you find that it's a bit of of course, the people there are suffering, no doubt about it. Casteism is there. The Dalits have been treated very badly. And they have every right to fight and say that they have the right to protest against the atrocities that have been committed against them. Phulan Devi herself is was a victim more than though she was a very, very cruel bandit. The way the Bandit Queen movie is picturized, we will think Phulan Devi was a great. Of course, it was taken very sensitively and shows how much she suffered and then how she became a cruel, bandit, like that. So what happens in that belt, wherever this, you will find Naxalites are there, Maoists are there. I'm just giving examples. Don't think that I'm saying that there. I have got friends who are Maoists and Naxalites. I know the realities of what they are trying to say, but the methodology is now. See, the ends are excellent. Their goals are absolutely correct. But the methodology that they are advocating by way of bombing bridges, killing innocent people at any cost, of course, you have the terrorists from various countries. They come to India and they create. You know how much has happened. The takeover of the Taj Mahal Hotel in Mumbai. I'm just giving all this information to you so that you'll know where we are. See, suddenly one fine morning we find people have taken over one of the important landmarks of Mumbai. Those of you who are from Mumbai, and maybe if you remember, you must have been very young at that time, or maybe whether you were born, I don't know, when the Taj Mahal Hotel, I'm sure you know that opposite to the Gateway of India in Mumbai, you will find the Taj Mahal Hotel, huge Tata property is there. That was taken over by terrorists and all that. And so that day we had see, these are all not happening outside or in the border. It's happening right in the middle, in Mumbai, heart of the city of Mumbai. Okay, they came there, bombings, Mumbai bombings, Delhi bombings. Okay, all this start happening. So these are terrorists. For whatever reason best known to them, they want to demonstrate, they want to show, and we become victims. So it is, don't you agree that it is necessary for us to protect ourselves? Absolutely. And yesterday we saw PMLA. That is again linked with all this. You see, some of the cash that these people are using comes through the money laundering process. Okay. Some of the funds that they get and they use legitimately comes through the foreign contribution. So somebody from abroad is sending money. This NGO is receiving. Then it is showing accounts as if it was distributed to farmers and villagers in various places, all bogus vouchers. The cash is taken out of the system. Again, pumped back for terrorist activities. Please understand why I am giving this elaborate example to help you understand why this law is like this. But unfortunately, the number of NGOs that do this type of NACS activities may be a small percentage of the total number of NGOs. Believe me, the number of NGOs who do this type of business will be very small, 5%, let us say. But the remaining 95% have to go through this draconian law, because otherwise, how would we be able to identify these guys? Therefore, all of us have to submit ourselves to this law and its draconian provisions for the purpose of this thing. Of course, I don't want to go to the point that Prashant makes, because that is also there. You will find that is listed here. Conversion through monetary means or conversion by some kind of inducement, etc. is also there ultimately. So anything that will affect the sovereignty. Okay. Now that I've given you a good background, you would be able to understand why this law is so draconian. Okay, I've been repeating the word draconian many times. Draconian means extremely strict, to the extent that it is very difficult to follow it. It is painful to follow it. Draco was a Roman general, and he made certain rules that were so difficult to follow. So that is why any rule that is very difficult or strict to follow, strict or difficult to follow, is called Draconian law. Draco, D-R-A-C-O-N-A-N, Draconian law. Suppose I'm using some new words in my lectures, and you think you do not know that word, and you now know it, have a notebook, small diary or notebook, where you note down the word and its meaning. Okay, and then as and when a new word you learn, you write it down in that diary. Matter of 1 year or 1.5 years, suddenly you'll find your vocabulary would have gone up by at least minimum, I'm giving you this, 2,000 words. Not joking, 2,000 words. Okay. So just a humble suggestion to you. Don't think that I'm trying to enforce you to learn new English and all that. New words and meanings and all. You'll be suddenly you might develop an interest in the English language, and you will start actually understanding and improving. Don't you think it will be useful to you in the long run? Think about it. So, as I told you, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010 was, again, just like FERA was replaced by FEMA, the 1976 law, FCRA, was replaced by the 2010 new law. Fairly the same. Again, it was amended. Okay. In 2020, which is the draconian provision that I'm talking about. 28th September 2020. Recently, last year, on the 1st of July 2022, they notified one more amendment act. Small procedural amendments have been made, which I will share with you as and when I come across them. If at all they are important, I will definitely share. There is one amendment, 2022 amendment, July 1st, 1/7/2022 amendment is there, which I'm sure was there for your May exam. I don't know if it was there for your May exam, but definitely for November it would become relevant. So I'm going to cover it for you. So this is the legislative history. Now, we go on for definitions as usual. The first definition is foreign company. So this act also defines foreign company. Means any company or association or body of individuals incorporated outside India and includes a foreign company within the meaning of section 591 of the Companies Act. Now there is no 56th law. Therefore, it shall be deemed under the General Clauses Act. You remember, when a law makes a reference to an enactment or a section which is no longer there, we should take it as a reference to the equivalent new law and the equivalent new section. So the equivalent new law is Companies Act 2013, and the equivalent new section, you already studied it, 379, which defines a foreign company. Am I correct? It would have been taught as a separate topic. Foreign companies incorporated outside India. Bigger group. Within that, you have foreign company, which has some activity in India, is called foreign company, right? So a foreign company, under the Companies Act, straight away a foreign company. A company which is a subsidiary of a foreign company is a foreign company. In India, think about it. An Indian subsidiary of a foreign company is a foreign company. The registered office or principal place of business of a foreign company, even though the company is incorporated outside India, it has an office in India, then that office will be deemed to be a foreign company. And a multinational corporation. See, again, I don't see the big deal, because a multinational corporation is ultimately a company, which would be a foreign company. For example, if you look at a multinational corporation, I can tell you straight away, I can tell you Sony Corporation, multinational corporation. What is a multinational corporation? It has a multinational, you'll see that it's going to be defined here. So when I come there, I'll tell you. So these are foreign company. If company incorporated in a foreign country or a territory shall be deemed to be a multinational corporation. So basically a multinational corporation is a foreign company. But it will be treated or deemed to be a multinational corporation if such corporation has a subsidiary or branch or a business in 2 or more countries or territories, where a company has subsidiaries or branches or place of business in 2 or more countries. So minimum 2 for a multinational corporation. It should have a branch. For example, Tata, incidentally, is a multinational corporation. It has subsidiaries in Middle East, in Africa, in Europe, in England. So it's a multinational corporation, right? So on and so forth. Or it carries on business or otherwise operates in 2 or more countries or territories. 2 or more, they say. For example, Airtel is a multinational corporation, in as much as it has operations in Africa. Okay. You know, I think 3 or 4 African countries, it has taken over the telecommunication lines, and it's a fantastic. It's an example of a multinational corporation. A lot of companies are there which are multinational. Ms. Mancha, I don't know if you joined late or not. I have spent a lot of time explaining why this act does not fall under the Ministry of Finance. Rather, instead of asking why this act doesn't fall under MOF, please try to understand why this act falls under the Ministry of Home Ministry, MOH. Because the Home Ministry is concerned with security. And this law is meant to protect India from infringement of sovereignty. Therefore, it comes under the Ministry of Home Ministry. That's it. If you understand that, that is easier, rather than why it is not in finance. Why should it be? It doesn't come under the Ministry of Finance portfolio. Because here we are not trying to collect any tax, or we are not trying to, there is no revenue or expense here. See, for it to come under Finance Ministry, there should be some revenue or there should be some expense. Here nothing is there. This is a control mechanism. Therefore, it comes under the Home Ministry. I hope you are satisfied. If you still want this to come under the Ministry of Finance, kindly I'll fix an appointment with the President of India. You can meet her and suggest to her that, no, madam, I think it's a lot of finance matters are here. So kindly transfer it to the Minister of Finance. If the President decides, not the Prime Minister, President has to decide. Okay, definitely the recommendation will go to the Prime Minister. You can transfer it to the Minister of Finance. But as of today, it is with the Ministry of Home. The reason, this is not concerned with money, revenue, expense. This is concerned with security, sovereignty of the Republic of India. If you have understood it, just put a confirmation there so that I'll be happy that I have communicated to you. And if you still feel that Ministry of Finance only should handle it, I'll be more than happy to inform Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman and the Draupadi Murmu. Sorry, I think we have a new president now. So, and whoever the president is, I will inform. And you can be happy that you have brought about a change. I'm just joking. Huh? Don't take me immediately. Most students, they can't take a joke. Huh? Come on. Okay. Think about it. So, are you clear? Right. Now we come to a very, very important definition. Yesterday we had Purvi Ben. Today I don't see her any queries. So she will ask, should I memorize this or not necessary? Try to remember. It's easy to remember. Just remember the items. Who are all foreign source? The government of any foreign country or territory and any agency of such government. Correct? Government of any, obviously a foreign government, country or a territory and any agency of such government. It is not a Tata company, is not a foreign company because see, Tata company, there is no one Tata company, madam. There are five main, all are Indian companies. See, what is a multinational company? It's obviously even a multinational company will have one country of origin. For example, the Mitsubishi Corporation is a multinational company. It has one Sony Corporation, is a multinational company, but it is basically a Japanese company. But while incorporated in Japan, it operates across the world. It has operations in more than 2 countries. It has subsidiaries in 2 or more countries. Same way, Tata Group, under the able leadership of Ratan Tata, is an Indian company. Not one company, Tata Sons is there, Tata Motors, Tata Steel, Tata Consultancy Services, of course, and Tata Chemicals, Tata Motor, so many of them. So all of them have foreign subsidiaries. Together, the group operates across the world. Okay? So they are basically a multinational, but Draupadi Murmu, I'm sure. Sorry, I'm not very good in this GK because at this stage, I'm not going to write IAS exam and become collector. So I don't know if you... So whoever it is, I will take you to her and you will, or him, and you will tell them, sir, I feel Ministry of Finance is better off like that. I'm sure Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman will be more than happy to take up this also from Mr. Amit Shah, okay, who is the, as of now, Minister for Home Affairs. Okay. All this comes under the GK, quiz contest or IAS. If you are writing for IAS or clerical exam, you should know all these things. I never studied because right from finished +2, went to BCom, 1 year BCom, finished entrance exam, joined CA, articles, CA inter, final, life went on. I never had the chance to read GK and all that stuff. Only finance, accounts, again and again, law, nothing else. Then went to do my MS, Master of Science in Management Systems from the Birla Institute of Technology in Pilani. That again was different, management, operations management, marketing management, all that stuff. So I never got the chance to learn GK. GK is not my forte. So if you ask me questions like that, I will not know. But today, luckily for me, I don't have to know GK. I have Google. and Karlo Dunia Mutti mein hai, mera, my knowledge base is here. Straight away, Chuck, who is the President of India? President of India, immediately Google will tell me. Like Mr. Prashant has told me. Draupadi Murmu ji. Thank you. Murmu ji. See, the President of India is the supreme authority of India. For your information, just again to tell you. One TV channel, one of my old students was running a program there and he was running the program on Constitution of India. So he called me and said, Srikanth sir, you have to come and speak on the constitution. Hey, come on, what do I know about the constitution? No, sir, like that. And he gave me the topic also, President of India. So those sections you have to teach. So I went there and I spoke for about 45 minutes on president. Then only I understood the role of a president and how the concept of President of India has come. And what is the scope of the powers of the President of India and all that. Okay, so the government of any foreign country, any international agency, not being the United Nations or any of its specialized agencies like the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, Asian Development Bank, all these are part of the United Nations. So any international agency, right? Similarly, a foreign company. We already saw, that's why we defined a foreign company. A corporation, not being a foreign company, incorporated in a foreign country or territory, other than company, any other. A multinational corporation. God only knows. Already foreign company definition, multinational is included. Again, they are giving it as a separate line item. Why? I don't know. Okay, many times, when they do like this and somebody asks me why, I can't give an answer because I didn't draft the law. Okay, but the law is like this. If you point out, you are right. Sir, already foreign company, multinational corporation is there, sir. Why again include it as a separate line item? GOK. GOK means what? Anybody? GOK. Expansion of GOK. It's a GK question. Not GK, GOK. GK is general knowledge. GOK is God only knows. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6. A company in which more than one half of the, correct. A company in which more than one half of the nominal value of its share capital. A company in which more than one half of the nominal value of its share capital is held either singly or in the aggregate by one or more of the following. Please note, here they are using the word a company, which means company incorporated in India. Already your researchers into this topic in Companies Act would have made you aware that the word company, surf company, means if they say company, that means company incorporated in India. If they say body corporate, that means company incorporated in India plus company incorporated outside India also. So if they want to say, they want to include body corporate, then that will be company, that will be body corporate, that means foreign company is also included. But if they say surf company, then only company incorporated in India, Indian company, either under this act or under an earlier law. Okay. So in a company incorporated in India, that is an Indian company, these entities are holding more than one half. Then that company, that Indian company will be deemed to be a foreign source. Got it? So who are these entities? Government company, government of a foreign country or territory, citizens of a foreign country or territory, trust, society or other association formed or registered in a foreign country, a foreign company, of course, more than one half. You are already foreign company includes subsidiary of a foreign company. Anyway, so if a foreign company is holding more than one half of the value of a company, it is included. Corporations incorporated in a country address. So if any of these entities, either singly or in the aggregate, meaning what? The government of a foreign company alone holds 52% foreign source. They hold only 25, right? Another foreign company is holding another 45. Together they are holding how much? 70 foreign company. So aggregate, in the aggregate, then this company, Indian company, will become a foreign source. Okay? Good. Prashant and Vidit have told God only knows. And K. Prashant says, yes, the president is the commander-in-chief, correct, of all the three wings of the army, Navy and Air Force. She is the supreme commander. Okay. Whether 100% subsidiary of a foreign company in IT sector can give donation to trust who doesn't have registration under FCRA. 100% subsidiary of a foreign company in IT sector can give donation to trust who doesn't have registration under FCRA? No, because that will be covered under foreign source. So, if you want to give donation, you should give only to a trust which has a registration under FCRA. Otherwise, you cannot give because you are a foreign source. See, you think about it. The 100% subsidiary of a foreign company is an Indian company in India. Normally, an Indian company giving donation to a trust need not bother about FCRA. They can simply give. So long as 12A is registered under the Income Tax Act, 12A is there, 80G is there. 80G is for your own claiming of deduction and all. 12A is there, you give exempted. 80G. 80G and, sorry, 80G also should be there. Sorry. 80G also should be there. Only then it is valid trust. 80G also should be there. Then you can give a donation to that trust. And the income, that donation will be exempted in the hands of the trust, and in the hands of the donor, they will get deduction under 80G. But this company, this 100% subsidiary of foreign company, cannot give unless that trust is registered under FCRA, because this will come under the category. Later on, you'll see any amount received from a foreign source is a foreign contribution. Foreign contribution means you should be registered under FCRA, or you should have one-time approval. Where the nominal value of share capital is within the limit. Sorry, I should have made that. I should have been careful because 100% subsidiary of foreign company in IT sector. So that IT sector is the clue here. I should have been a little more careful. Why is it so? Let us see. You are already now familiar with FEMA, and you are aware that foreign direct investment is permitted in certain sectors up to certain caps. In the IT sector, there is no limit. FDI, foreign direct investment, can be made up to 100%. So here is a company which has received 100% donation. Got it? So whether 100% subsidiary of foreign company in IT sector can give donation to trust who doesn't have registration of FCRA? Yes, it can. Because up to 100% investment is possible in an IT sector. Software and all. Within the limit specified under FEMA, it's not a foreign source. Okay, so donation can be given. This is the exception to section 21J6. Right? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'm sorry for confusing you, but this slide is the answer to this. 10 is the answer to 9. Yeah, no, actually, the question is not about that. The question is about whether this IT company, which is having 100% investment from foreign company, is a foreign source. Normally, it will be, because more than one half of the nominal value is held. But there is an exception given here which says if the investment is within the limit specified for foreign investment or foreign direct investment under FEMA, then it is not a foreign source. Hope it is clear. Yeah. Sorry about that. But suppose this is not in the IT sector or the limits are violated, then foreign contribution cannot be given. Okay. But again, I'm unable to see that because, see, if you're trying to get FDI into India, you will have to go get it only through a bank now. So you go to a bank and tell him that I've got this thing happening here. You cannot allot the shares unless you have gone through the process. There's no need for approval. It's an automatic route. But you have to go to the bank, fill up the form, FCGPR, submit it. They will give you a certificate that it is net foreign exchange realization certificate, wherein they will clearly mention what is the nature of the payment. They will say investment in equity within the limit specified. In case you are violating the limit, the first thing they will say, please go to RBI, get approval and come. Otherwise, the money will be kept in abeyance. It won't be released to you. And allotment cannot be done. Okay. So I seriously don't see how this could be possible. But so long as the investment by a foreign company in an Indian company by a foreign company is within the limit specified, then that Indian company will not be a foreign source. See, they are trying to control. some nefarious means of bringing money into India. See, the recent G20, I'm sure you're aware, it happened in Chennai also. Whenever I was in Dharamshala, there also it happened. G20, they were having G20 and all that. G20, the title given by our enlightened Prime Minister is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means that the whole world is a single family. Vasudha. Vasudha is the whole world. Okay? It's a single family. Now that's a nice thing, philosophically, theoretically, conceptually. But when it really comes to practice, you have to be careful. Am I correct? We agree? But in principle, yes, it sounds nice when you're hearing, and it's definitely nice, no doubt about it. So I belong to an organization where we believe that we are all brethren, and that between us we have to be, and that is how it should be. So even when we have an issue or fight, we don't fight. We talk about it. We get into meaningful conversations, and we understand each other and go on with our life. But for that, the maturity level should be very high. Unfortunately, our Vasudha, our world is full of immature countries like North Korea, to an extent China, our own neighbor, the great Pakistan. All of them, they are still immature in their approach to the world. Unlike India, we were advanced even in those days. See, even before independence, even before the British, before the Mughal, Indians were able to say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We were able to say that. We were not parochial. We were not restricting ourselves. Also in Tamil Nadu, we had a great poet, Kaniyan Pungundranar, who made this Yadumbure, Yavarum Kelir. Yadumbure, Yavarum Kelir. Every place is my place and everybody is my relative. That every place, not just India, not every place, Yadumbure, every place, okay, is my country or is my place, and everybody is my relative. Now, this type of a broader view, mature view, we have as Indians, but expecting Paramahamsa, where one Swamiji will be preaching about ahimsa and all that, and one snake would be listening to it. So the snake will get converted into the ahimsa. It's okay, Swamiji, Guruji, from now on I will be a good snake. It will go off. So that snake will go and it will not hurt anybody. It will not do anything. So people realize that the snake is not going to do anything. So thereafter they started hitting the snake and hurting it. And the snake could not eat also. And nothing could happen. So the snake became totally. Then the Swamiji came back that side and said, he went to the snake. Hey, what happened? No, Swamiji, I followed your advice. Now I am totally out. I said, what happened? No, I am not doing anything. No, I am just sitting quietly and contemplating. They are hitting me. I said, look here. I said, don't hurt them. Did I say don't occasionally do like that so that, they will know that you are still a snake, that you are capable of hitting, harming them like that. Did I say that? Somewhere we have to, this is story given by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So, sort of. So sometimes you have to show that who we are, and occasionally. This is not just a general view, and don't get into it very deep. Ultimately, all of us are brothers and sisters. Ultimately, love is the only conquering factor. No doubt about it. Okay, hatred can never be a solution to any problem. But that should not become a weakness. That is all. So, foreign source. Again, we continue. Trade union in any foreign country or a territory, whether or not registered in such foreign country or territory. These are just listed. Foreign trust or a foreign foundation, by whatever name called, or such trust or foundation mainly financed by a foreign country or a territory. See, I have had the good fortune to be the auditor at the national level for trusts in India, which have received contribution from foreign trust. This is one major category. As a member of the institute, later on, if you are going to practice, and if you have NGO clients, you will find this type of client comes to you, because most NGOs need funding here. And one major source of funding comes from abroad. You have the Bill Gates Foundation, you have the Ford Foundation, so on and so forth. Okay, where they are willing to give you money. We have international NGOs that collect money from all over the world. For example, we are associated with some Child Fund International, Child Fund like India, CFI, CRY, No, I'm not saying some of us. So all this, they need money from abroad. And there are people willing to fund. So you have to take money from them. So that is one way. So these trust, when you're receiving from a foreign foundation or a foreign trust, that foreign foundation or trust is a foreign source. So if you're receiving any money from them, your trust, the Indian trust, should be registered under FECRA or should get one-time approval. Otherwise, any money, if you receive it and use it, it is a violation of FCRA. USAID, a lot of foreign funders are there. So as a chartered accountant, this would be one of your, financial management, FM, financial controllers are there. There are chartered accountants who are employees of the Indian trusts, which are receiving huge money. So I have certified myself. At one stage, I was certifying something like 100, 200 crores of funding for HIV AIDS, AIDS awareness and AIDS funding. And across the India national level, we were auditing. I told you, under that, in that manner only, I visited all over the country. Madhya Pradesh, Bhavra, Mandu, I've been that side, Maheshwar, Indore, that MP. This side, I am all the way up to Mukukchang in Nagaland, Manipur. Okay, so many places where I had to go and see whether the activities are being done and certify it. So that is and they are also getting money from our foreign source. So nothing wrong in this. Similarly, a society, club, or other association or individuals formed or registered outside India. So when we are getting money from a society or a club, it's a foreign source. A citizen of a foreign country, okay, John MacDonald living in Scotland wants to give you $500 to your trust. He is also a foreign source. You have to get yourself, see, you are a small trust, you're running a Adivasi tribal school. Okay, good. And your John MacDonald came for a holiday to Nilgiri district. He saw your, he came to you, he was so impressed, I'll give you $500. You can't take it from him immediately. He said, hey, you are a foreign source, man. You are not registered under FCRA. So better get yourself registered under FCRA. Then you can take. That also you cannot take in cash from him. Okay. You have to get it only through bank, through the designated bank account. You'll see the procedure now. Today I'll be teaching you now. So be careful. See, because John MacDonald comes and then he puts $500 in the undi, not possible. Okay, be careful. Small things, will become a problem for you. Of course, in good faith, if you have done it, you can try to get away once, but don't make it as a practice. I don't know, John Soros. Okay, John Soros can give much more than $500. Okay. Now, some more definitions. We have foreign contribution. So we saw foreign company, we saw foreign source, now foreign contribution. Foreign contribution means the donation, delivery, or transfer made by any foreign source. So, donation or delivery or transfer made by any foreign source of any article or any currency, whether Indian or foreign, or any security, including a foreign security. So, whatever they are giving, if they want to give, if they are a foreign source, it is a foreign contribution. Currency or any article or any security, including a foreign security. Okay, that's why I said when John MacDonald, my guy is John MacDonald person. I don't know about this John Soros. So MacDonald wants to give money. You can't take it because he's a foreign source, a citizen of a foreign country. Right? I've had all these examples. Suddenly one trustee will call me and say, Mr. Srikanth, one foreigner has come to visit our place. They want to give $1,000 in donation. Can I take? I said, no, sir, no. Luckily, you are registered under FCRA, but don't take cash. Ask him to transfer online to your account. At that time, there was no Parliament branch and all that, Parliament Street branch and all. You could take it in any designated FCRA account. So I'll tell him, boss, don't take cash, boss. Please ask him to transfer it to your foreign contribution account, which is with Indian Bank. Tell him immediately, let him transfer it, you take it and enjoy. Okay. So that's like that. Nowadays, what happens? When I come to that procedure, I'll tell you. Okay, that's procedural. So now you know what is foreign contribution. When you receive any article or any currency, whether Indian or foreign, or any security, including a foreign security, from your foreign source, it is foreign contribution. Even if, see, John is coming to India and John has Indian currency. So he says, stay in Indian currency, gone. You can't take it from him because he's a foreign source. Okay. Of course, you can take it from him and put Kupusami, Muthusami and take it. That is different. That is your smartness. But you can't show him as the donor. You can't give credit to John. If you want to, then the money has to come through. It should be coming through an account which is registered under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, bank account. And you should be registered under FCRA. And there should be a designated FCRA receiving account. Hope this is the basic law. What I have now told you, the law is over. Now, from there onwards, only explanation. What I have told you is the basic law. If you want to receive any money from a foreign source, you can do so only if you are registered under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, and it can be given only through a designated bank account, which is meant for receiving foreign contribution. That's all. Act completed by. No, not like that. Based on this, there are other things to be done. Okay. Now, the above done person who above done by a person who has received the same directly or indirectly from any foreign source means instead of giving it directly, that guy gives it to a relative, who in turn gives it to you. This was again a question, popular question. They ask, suppose they give to a relative and that relative gives to me, that relative will be deemed to be a foreign, that will be also deemed to be a foreign contribution. So that is one more way of planning. Can we include stock exchange as a foreign contribution for NGO? Let us see. You bring, just check up if it will come under one of the explanations of foreign source. See, most of stock exchanges are companies, right? Most of stock exchanges are companies. So they would directly come under the category of foreign contribution. Are you able to understand? Straight away, a stock exchange. That's John Soros. I don't know. Anyway, I'm happy that you have heard of George Soros. Soros is a great man. Though I am not a. See, Soros is good. He was a hedge master. He was a king of arbitrage. He was king of arbitrage. And he was the king of predicting how the market will move. Soros. But sorry, not my favorite investment guru. My favorite and all-time favorite is Warren Buffett. Value investing. Understanding the business of the company. Long-term focus. Seeing whether this company would be existing another 20 years later with growth. And then investing at a very low price. So that as the company grows, the investment will grow. That's all. This is a secret. Warren Buffett investing. So we are more into Warren Buffett and that group. Munger, Charles Munger and all. Soros, no. Okay, George Soros, no. I'm not a great fan. I know him. I've read the book and all. It's a good book. But I'm not a great fan. No, office technique. 1, 2. India, our market is not yet mature for that. For using George Soros. But India is still good for Warren Buffett techniques. Because there are still undiscovered value propositions in India. We should know how to get them out. And invest at a very low prices early. And then wait. That's all. Wait. Don't do anything is Warren Buffett theory. Don't do anything. Simply wait and watch the tree grow. It will give you mango after mango after mango, year after year after year. It will give. And nothing has to be done after that. Anyway, sorry for going into a totally unconnected topic proposed by your Soros. Anyway, so my logic is if you are saying it's a stock exchange, then technically would it not be a foreign company? No, sir, it is not. Then see if it fits under any of these categories. Okay. Corporation, not being a foreign company. So maybe it will come under the heading of corporation. Whatever it is, you can include stock exchange. Yes, if a stock exchange wants to give to an NGO, it is a foreign source. Please note, don't ask whether it is a foreign contribution. Ask whether the person giving it is a foreign source. So you should be thorough with the definition of foreign source. If you're thorough with the definition of foreign source, only then you can decide whether it's a foreign contribution or not. I hope you understood. That is why I taught foreign source first. If a foreign source is giving it, then it is foreign contribution. Similarly, any interest or other income accruing on that foreign contribution also is a foreign contribution. For what purpose? Another rule that you will see is that any money received by way of foreign contribution shall be utilized only for the purpose for which it was received. any amount received as foreign contribution with approval also shall be used only for the purpose for which it was received. That is also there, utilization. And that utilization should be said. Later on, I'll be telling you, finally, I'll be telling you that one of you or I, members of the institute, will have to certify. That is why you should know this law. I told you now about of the 30 or 40 clients of around. See what happens now. There's an NGO list is there. I keep looking at it. Some are there, some are old clients. They suddenly come back. So, but live clients, about 20-25 of them, every year we file their form because they take foreign contribution. Even if it is nil, we file a nil form. Okay, better not take a risk. We file a nil form. Okay. Similarly, foreign hospitality means any offer not being a purely casual one made in cash or kind by a foreign source. Casual, purely casual ones. Yeah, getting loan or interest-free loan from foreign sources is foreign contribution. Ms. Janvi Agarwal, have you studied FEMA? Yes. Can any entity in India get a loan without approval from the Reserve Bank of India? Forget NGO, company, anybody. You want to get a loan. Can you do it? If so, what rule you have to comply with? Which regulation you have to comply with? For one moment, we will go there and come. Because unfortunately, these topics are all closely linked, my dear friend. Your question is asked like this, but I'm asking you, loan is governed by which law? No, what no? You can get a loan, but you have to go through the ECB route. Again, what is that ECB expansion? External commercial borrowing. So this is non-commercial now. How will you borrow? There is no way of borrowing. If he is willing to lend also, there is no way you can borrow. Unless you go to the Reserve Bank of India and take a specific permission, I'm sure they won't give you. What is there then as well? You ask them to give it as a donation. So I'm unable to see how an NGO will be able to get a loan, interest-free or otherwise, from a foreign source. One. If so, that loan is, if so, that is not foreign contribution. Because a donation only is covered here, delivery or transfer. Whereas this is a loan, not covered by this definition. But because you are saying it's not covered, I am telling you, if you get an amount and you say it's a loan, next minute you are violating FEMA. You are straight away violating FEMA. Okay? Yeah. So, boss, her question is very simple. Getting loan or interest-free loan from foreign source is foreign contribution or not? I can easily answer, it is not a foreign contribution. But be careful. Because of that, you cannot get it. Because there is other control on it. You know, when you're studying one law, you cannot, like a horse wearing blinkers, only look at that law. You should look at other laws connected with it also. Only then your knowledge is professional. Only then your knowledge is expert level knowledge. Otherwise, only student level knowledge. When the teacher is teaching, that subject you will ask a doubt. Good. But an expert level knowledge student now, he or she will know all the sections, all the laws that they have studied. Link it. Oh, yeah. Under FEMA, ECB is there. This cannot come under the ECB now. And there's no other way you can get a loan. For information, there's a FEMA complete regulation on loans. Only other option is relative. But that only Indian citizen can, natural person can get, artificial person cannot get. I mean, so on and so forth. So, complications are there. So, your question is very nice, Janvi ji, but the answer needs so much explanation and reference to another law. Are you able to understand? Luckily, Institute doesn't ask questions like that, where you need to combine two laws to give one answer. But outside of the exam, when you come and sit in practice and you are getting clients, every question have 5 or 6 law implications. See, they will come and talk about demerger and or merger. I can just talk about the section of the Companies Act. I have to talk about income tax. I have to talk about accounting standard. I have to talk about Ind AS. Everything put together, I have to tell them what is the implication. I can't simply say, I know what according to section so 72A. I may be an expert in income tax, But I still need to know other laws, other things also. Capital account transaction in FEMA and is through ECB product eligible. Yeah, but you, boss, you are all expert in FEMA. I'm not even coming near you. I'm only saying this is covered under FEMA. Please be careful. That's all. Okay. I'm sure you are all experts by now. You should be. Okay. So that is how it is. It is a capital account transaction and it cannot be done. I'm not saying under this law, under FEMA, it's a problem. You can't get it. Okay. Janvi ji, have you understood what I said? I mean, I'm not trying to make you feel that, you have told something wrong, but I'm trying to open your eyes to the totality of our professional knowledge. It's not just one section, one law like that. Our income tax means self income tax only we will talk. No, sir. As I'm talking income tax, I have to look at other aspect. I can't simply, say I will ignore it and be incomplete. Think, this is what I want you to take home. Ms. Janvi, this is what I want to take home. That questions while asking, think it through. Is there any implication from any other law that is there? Then automatically you will get your answer. No problem. Your question is welcome. I'm very happy. If you think my answer is convincing you, I would like to have a confirmation in by way of email. Thank you, madam. Why, as I keep on telling you, I am an interactive teacher. When I teach, I sometimes even get down from the podium and I walk right up to the last row and I come back. When a question comes to the last row, actually go right up to the last row. Means sometimes in my class, there will be about 100, 150 students in the hall. So I'll go all the way up there and talk to him and come. Because that is the type of approach I have. So individually, I would like to work. So, but in this, but though, of course, today, as I'm becoming Buddha, it is becoming easier for me to sit in front of the laptop and teach you. Okay. And my knees are definitely thanking for that. But the point is, even though I would like to reach out to you, that each and every one of you sitting in front of this laptop or mobile phone or tab, I want to be with you. And any doubt, I want to be able to understand that you understood. Then only as a teacher, I'll feel happy. Okay. Foreign hospitality, we have seen, means any offer not being a purely casual one. Purely casual means what? Yeah. See, I was in Japan the other day. I just went, the guy, the guide who took us around, okay, we went out. One day what I did, I said, come on, let's go. I want to have a sushi. I like to have a sushi meal. So we went and we had sushi, wasabi and all that we enjoyed. And I paid for it. And then you said, Shrikant-san, what are you doing? You're paying. I said, hey, chalo, no, yeah, we are friends. Okay, we are friends. Okay, you forget. In the morning when you get into the bus, you are my guide. But now, evening, you are also an individual. I'm an individual. I invited you for the dinner. You were kind enough to come and show me a good restaurant in Osaka. We had. So this fellow became very good. So next time, when he was waiting for an opportunity, and when he got a chance, he said, come on, let's go have a beer. And both of us went and we had a beer. And he said, I will only pay for it. Hey, I said, okay, chalo, you pay for it. No problem. So he paid something, 1,000 yen or whatever, 300 yen, 400 yen, something. He paid for it. And so this is a purely casual hospitality. Now you cannot say, Shrikant went out of into Japan and he had foreign hospitality. Okay. Chalo, that is casual. Casual. Purely casual. See, the guy felt, okay, I have taken a meal from him. Let me do something in return. And he is sponsoring or he is paying for a drink. It's okay, perfectly all right. Purely casual, but suppose Mr. X, who is a, MLA from one constituency, he is taken all the way, okay, to Korea or to somewhere and is given a lot of hospitality, like stay in a star hotel. Entire travel is funded by that country and he is shown the place around and comes back. Why? Because they know that tomorrow he is going to become state industry minister. So the minute he becomes state industry minister, he may do some benefit for them. Therefore, they are providing free hospitality. That is called foreign hospitality, received from a foreign source for providing a person with the cost of travel to any foreign country or territory. Free boarding, lodging, transport, etc., or medical treatment abroad. So, see, when a sitting MLA goes abroad and is funded by a foreign source, we are worried about our own sovereignty. Because why is this? Once he receives foreign hospitality, see, that guide from Japan, after just eating one meal with me, he felt obliged to do something in return. Am I correct or not? That shows his. See, everybody, once you take a meal or once you take something from somebody, you feel obliged. You feel obliged. Am I correct? Which is why many times I do not accept hospitality even from clients. Even from clients. Means, I'm not talking about foreign hospitality. Indian clients, my clients, I do not take hospitality from them. Because that put me under an understanding. See, for example, I go for an audit, they say, sir, please, we'll go to the hotel, we'll have dinner together. I'll pay for it, sir. Please don't pay for it. No, Srikanth, what is there? I'll pay. No, sir. Ultimately, it's not good. Or else it must be a hotel which is a normal hotel. Normal food where it's not a big thing. Within the allowance that would be normally fixed for me as an auditor. Which means I will take it as, instead of me paying out of my pocket, I won't claim it as that time I will adjust it against this. Ultimately, if I take anything from somebody, I'm obliged. That obligation may force me to do something that may not be honorable. Therefore, they say receiving a foreign hospitality needs to be controlled. Not by everybody. You will see who are to be controlled also. Now, we are going to come to a very, very important provision. Very, very important provision, which is exceptions. The rules when you study, which is good, but the exceptions are even more important than the rules. So please be careful about the exceptions to foreign contribution. First exception, an article given to a person as a gift for his personal use. If the market value in India of such article on the date of such gift is not more than INR 100,000. So all of you go for a tour to some foreign country, say Sri Lanka. There, you visit another student, say maybe the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka. So student exchange program. Why not? I think Sikasa should look at organizing something like that. So across in India, collect smart CA students and take them for a trip to Sri Lanka, so that Sri Lankan CA students you meet and understand how it works now. So finally, the day you're leaving, they give you a silk scarf. Silk scarf. Okay. So article given to a person as a gift for your personal use. Value is not more than 100,000. Indian currency, it may not be much. Hardly 500 rupees, 600 rupees. No problem. Okay. So in those cases, allowed. Above 1 lakh, no. Any amount received by any person from any foreign source in India by way of fee, including fees charged by an educational institution in India from foreign student. So these are all money received from a foreign source, but received by the person in India. See, an educational institution in India is receiving fees from a foreign student, not a foreign contribution, towards cost in lieu of goods or services rendered by such a person in the ordinary course of his business, trade or commerce, whether within India or outside India. This is again linked to your FEMA. This is nothing but payment for export of goods and services. When you are exporting goods and services, you are getting money from a foreign source, exempted. Means commercially, if you are doing something, you are rendering some service or thing for which you are getting paid. Whether you are rendering it in India or outside India, you are getting paid from a foreign source. No problem. See, this will happen to you. For example, many times foreign companies come to India, they want advice. They are not yet incorporated a company in India. So we give them advice on what are the issues, how to incorporate, how to come into India. We prepare about a 50-page report we send and for which we charge them. And they pay us. This is for a service rendered, okay, in India for a foreign client. That money, if I receive, it is not a foreign contribution. Any contribution received from an agent of a foreign source towards such fee or cost. So you are not receiving it directly, you are receiving it through an agent. Now, the word person is defined here. Person includes an individual, a Hindu undivided family, an association. A company registered under Section 8 also is a company, is a person. Okay, this is just for definition we're telling. Okay, thank you, Namrataji, for that. Good, thank you. So, important definitions we continue. Political party, an association of body or individuals to be registered with Election Commission of India as a political party under the Representation of People Act. or which has set up candidates for election to any legislature, but it's not so registered or deemed to be registered under the election symbols order. So when you are going to stand for election also, you are covered. You are not yet registered with the Election Commission. But even though you are not registered, you are proposing to contest in any election to any legislature, state or central. You are a political party. Also, political party mentioned in column 2 of table 1 and table 2, the Election Commission of India. So this is a registered political party. A political party registered under the Representation of the People Act. They also clarify that words and expressions used in FCRA 2010 and not defined, but defined in Representation of People Act will have the same meaning, or the Foreign Exchange Management Act shall have the same meaning. So in a way, you can say FCRA and FEMA, though managed by different ministries, have a commonality in terms of foreign movement of funds, foreign exchange within India. Therefore, FEMA also has a role to play. So we have seen the definitions. Now we move on to regulation of foreign contribution and foreign hospitality. Right? This is the operative part of the enactment. The Act places prohibition on acceptance of foreign contribution and restriction on acceptance of foreign hospitality by certain classes of persons. Okay? Foreign contribution in general, there's a prohibition and restriction. Though there is a prohibition on foreign contribution, what they have done is they built a wall and said no foreign contribution. Then in that wall, they have opened up doors and said those doors you can come in. So we're going to see what those doors are. Then you can. One important door is if you are an NGO registered and if you are otherwise genuine trust or a society or a Section 8 company, if you are registered under the Income Tax Act, then you can apply to the Home Ministry for registration under FCRA. And once you are given a registration, you can freely accept foreign contribution. So that is one legitimate door available. Prohibited from accepting foreign contribution. Who are prohibited? A candidate for election cannot. Because you see, if a foreign country is able to influence a candidate for election, they may be able to pass laws that will enable them to infiltrate our country or misuse our economic resources. Therefore, no. Candidate for election, no. Correspondent, columnist, cartoonist, editor, owner, printer, or publisher of a registered newspaper. Because newspapers have a lot of power. When you read Times of India, you are influenced by the news. You are Times of India, I'm sorry, but Hindu, yes, or Indian Express. You read it, then you know, hey, Indian Express is said like that. So you are influenced. So such people, if they receive foreign contribution, they may be forced to write news that is meant to weaken our economic sovereignty. Therefore, they are not allowed to take foreign contribution. So please note, these people are prohibited from accepting foreign contribution. Prohibited. They cannot accept. Public servant, an employee of a government, judge, government servant, or employee of any corporation or any other body controlled or owned by the government. So public sector undertaking, a government company, employee of any corporation cannot accept foreign contribution. Obviously, so for example, this would be very obvious now. Government servant getting foreign contribution. What is this here? Obviously, later on that company will come to India and maybe when the government is floating a tender, they will want this guy to support them. He already received contribution. So no, you're not supposed to get contribution. Member of any legislature means elected. Candidate. Once he is elected, he becomes a member of MLA, member of Legislative Assembly, member of Parliament, MP, okay, MLC. In some countries, some states you have cartoonist also is similar. Why cartoonist? Because that whole group connected with the press. Everybody is connected with the press now. Correspondent, columnist. See, columnist is a guy who writes a half-page article on a topical issue. That column, there will be one visual also, which would be a cartoonist. So sometimes the columnist will write in words, now nobody will read, but the visual cartoon will have more effect. So if they are influenced, what happens? They may say or do something that will support that foreign source and evince sympathy for them, which may be detrimental to our sovereignty. Similarly, editor might write an editorial which is sympathizing with the foreign country or whatever it is. I tell you how it is. So it depends on the government, depends on the regime, depends on the political climate, etc. Similarly, owner, because the owner is only running that business. Printer is printing it, publisher is publishing it. So all of them together get into that's whole gang. Okay. The correspondent is the reporter. Don't think correspondent means college correspondent. Here correspondent means core correspondent. See what happens now in those days, the reporters used to be in the front, in the war front, from where they will correspond, write letters to the paper. Okay. And so that is how it is. For example, you have, Graham Greene, The Quiet American. It's a beautiful movie about a reporter who is in Vietnam, in Hanoi, okay, where he falls in love with a local Korean girl and all. It's a nice story. And so there, Graham Greene himself was a correspondent. And he makes a point. He says, I'm a reporter. I am not here to give opinion. So my job is to see what's happening here and send a report to my paper. Then that is published, that is written by an editor or sub-editor. And based on all this information, etc., a columnist will give his opinion. The editor will give the editorial, the view held by the paper. So that way I'm explaining the whole press activities for you. So this is a very, very big influential group. Okay. They are the fifth pillar of country. And so the fourth estate, they call the fourth estate of the country. And therefore they are very, very powerful body. The press. So that is why they are prohibited from receiving foreign contribution. Okay. Political party or office bearer. Similarly, organization of a political nature, which is not a political party, but it is overtly, directly supporting a political party. Association or company engaged in the production or broadcast of audio news or audiovisual news. This is print media. B is print media. G is other audiovisual, TV, television. Today, television is also out. Today, it is everything and anything was the internet. Okay, electronic form. You are being bombarded with opinions, thoughts, ideas. See, you have to keep your mind clean. So difficult for me. That's why I don't look at Facebook fully. I do upload and all. I see some of my friends, but all these opinions and all, I don't take it. I read for myself, form my own opinion. I don't take borrowed opinions from other people and say that is mine. Okay. Whatever opinion is mine, it is mine. I don't need somebody else to give me an opinion. Okay. No ready-made opinions, only ready-made shirts, no ready-made opinions. Correspondent or columnist, cartoonist of a audiovisual news or current affairs program. Okay. So, any of the above persons are providing services in individual companies and getting money from outside. Absolutely no problem. See, if you are coming under this exemption, no problem. Okay. For example, if that correspondent is writing a column for the New Yorker magazine. See, the New Yorker magazine wants a column, and this columnist is invited to write the column from India. Nothing wrong. He can charge for it and take it. Provided service in individual capacity. Nothing wrong. He is rendering a service and getting paid for it. Yeah, fourth pillar, absolutely correct. The fourth estate or the fourth pillar as they are called, the press. So, yes, your question is well taken. And the answer is, they can. So long as they are rendering a service for nothing wrong. Why not? See, we are not trying to say they should not have political opinion. Sorry. They can express the political opinion. All we are saying is don't take free loading. Don't go free loading. Don't get donation from them. And don't write what they want. Don't be influenced is all we are saying. If genuinely a man is a communist and he is convinced about communism and he is willing to write about it, nothing wrong with it. It is not a crime. No way. Everybody is entitled to their own political opinion. And which is one of the fundamental rights which is promised to every citizen of this country by the Constitution of India. So you cannot say you should not hold this opinion, or if you are holding this opinion. We do not have any such political ideologies in India. We are democratic country. Every ideology is welcome. So long as you don't, that's what sovereignty and democratic nature of our country should not be touched. That's all. Other than that, you do anything you want. Okay. You think the sun rises in the west, that is your opinion. Welcome, sir. Please. You think the earth is flat. Welcome, sir. That is your opinion. We value your opinion. Okay. Now, the Act also prohibits indirect acceptance of foreign contribution. So, on the right-hand side here, we have this list, which I've already mentioned. I don't want to waste my time reading this again to you. This is exactly what we saw just now, all these guys. Any of these people, they see if they get it directly, it is a foreign contribution from a foreign source. So, if suppose you are being very smart and instead of getting it directly, the foreign source gives it to a person resident in India and citizen of India, resident outside India, accepts the foreign contribution on behalf of any of these people. So you are not getting it directly. Person resident in India and citizen of India, resident outside India, accept foreign contribution on behalf of political party or listed persons. Again, remember, in our Shivaji example yesterday, Shivaji Foundation is getting donation from who? Persons, citizens of India, resident outside India, or foreign citizens. Okay? Whoever. The foreigners are giving to Shivaji Foundation now, which means Shivaji Foundation should be registered under FCRA. Under FCRA. Otherwise, they cannot accept. So, all that, Shankar cannot write a screenplay. No? He cannot show an auditor going and getting it registered under FCRA and all that. So, that will be boring. But ultimately, Shivaji Foundation should have been registered under FCRA. Otherwise, they cannot get foreign contribution. From foreigners, they can't get it. Okay. See, when a chartered accountant is watching a movie, he's not able to enjoy. He's thinking like all this. Did they get their registration under the FCRA and all that? In fact, when I came back in the car, my son was driving and I think my wife and I were all. I was telling my wife all these things. He said, even if you go to the cinema theater, will you be thinking about your subject only like that? She was hitting her head. The word public servant was introduced by the Amendment Act. So, under the Indian Penal Code, the word public servant is there, a list of people who are public servants. That definition will be applicable here. Similarly, Section C, 6 Clause C, the expression corporation owned or controlled by the government. See, Oil and Natural Gases Commission, ONGC, it's corporation owned and controlled. Of course, it is ONGC Limited now, and it is listed, but it is still a corporation. It was a corporation. Indian Oil was a corporation. Now it's a company, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. Now we come to exceptions. I told you, gates have been opened. They straight away prohibited. Wall is there. So first I showed you the wall. Now I'm going to show you door by door by door. Each door, if you are able to go through, go. Try to go through. You can come. So if you open the door, foreign contribution will come in. So let us see. Section 3 shall not apply to the acceptance by any person specified in that section of any foreign contribution where such contribution is accepted by him. That is, the following list, if it's covered, it is not foreign contribution. So this is important, very important from the exam point of view. So, by way of salary, wages, or other remuneration due to him, or to any group of persons working under him from any foreign source, or by way of payment in the ordinary course of business transacted in India by such foreign source. So anything, if you're receiving a salary, wages, or other remuneration, or as payment for any business transaction, it is not foreign contribution. So straight away, all commercial transactions are cleared. So if it is commercial, and remember, if it is commercial, it is covered by FEMA. Don't forget, because it is an exception here, doesn't mean that it is permitted. It is not a foreign contribution under the FCRA. That is all. If you want to receive it, there are other restrictions like current account transaction, etc. are there. Please understand. Okay, you cannot just like that get money into India. Okay, FEMA also has, see, under FEMA, you can get money into India only in 3 ways. One, you can get it by way of payment for sale of goods or services. Second, investment in shares. Okay. Thirdly, loan. Loan means ECB. There's no other way. Certain loans are permitted, like blood relatives can give to each other and all that. But for those exceptions, you have to go with the permission of the Reserve, and that too, Reserve Bank of India has given general permission. There's a separate circular for that. Not in your syllabus, but it is there. So you have to go through it. And if it is not covered, then. So simply because it is, see, I don't want a cross question like that. Don't say, sir, it is not a foreign contribution, so freely accepted. Boss, it is not covered under FC. But please go to FEMA and check whether there is any restriction on acceptance of that money into India. I hope you got the point I'm making here very strongly. FEMA and FCRA like this. You can't, both have to be studied together, understood together. By way of payment in the ordinary course of international trade or commerce, means payment for goods, export of goods. You already studied that, na? Section 6. Or in the ordinary course of business transacted by him. So rules are there under FEMA. You have to get the money back and all that. Okay. In fact, I'm not teaching FEMA, but there used to be one nefarious practice. See, foreign contribution will be there. It will have as an Indian subsidiary. The Indian subsidiary will need money very urgently. They will see if the ECB norms are covered. You know that, the debt, it cannot be more than 10 times, 7 times, and all is the net worth. So it won't be possible to give. Then what they will do, no? The banker who is supposed to be an authorized person will give the advice, you send me some invoices on your foreign holding company, just give me the document. Based on the invoice, ask them to send the money. I will say that it is payment against these invoices and close it. Bank will simply do that and go. And this subsidiary of foreign company, they won't even understand what they are doing. They will simply obey the banker and bankers or banker. Then they will say, so we will ask them, boss, these invoices are there. Where are they accounted in your books? No. These are just dummy invoices sent to the bank. What do you mean dummy? This has to be accounted in your income. No. These are not real invoices, Baba. They are thing. Then we will ask, how is your foreign counterparty showing it? Are they showing it as a purchases? No. Why are you wasting my time, Mr. Srikanth? That cannot be purchased. Then what is the sale here? Like that, they will prepare sale bill. I'm not joking. And that fellow will not account it as purchase. He'll be showing it as due. One company came to me. I said, what nonsense you have done? So what to do now, sir? I want to send this money back. You can never send it because how did you get it? You got it as money for sales, Baba. So you just keep it in your books as due. And finally, one fine morning, write it off. That's the only way you can do it. Write it back rather. And show it as income and get out of it. That's the only way you can do it. Okay. So I'm just telling you, see, this is type of practical situation where you will not know how to advise. And remember again, we are dealing with foreigners. See, for you and me, all this is foreign contribution, FEMA and all. Foreign is a foreigner. He doesn't even understand. Wow. And the local guy who did this foolishness, and the banker who did it, they would go away. By then, they would have changed the bank also. So you go to that bank and ask them, what are you doing? The guy who did this nonsense, that manager, would not be there. He'll run away. For him, it's just getting a new account and giving some extraordinary customer service to them and going away. But violation of FEMA, he doesn't understand. He said, why I'm going there, though it's FEMA and not foreign contribution? Anything and everything, if money is coming into India, banks are closely monitoring it. You cannot just like that get foreign exchange into India and get away with it. No. As an agent, so one more way, as an agent of a foreign source, in relation to any transaction made by such foreign source with the central government or state government. So, as an agent, if they are getting it from the foreign source, okay, by way of gift or presentation made to him as a member of any Indian delegation, provided that such gift or present was accepted in accordance with the rules made by central government. See, they have certain rules. Up to this amount, you can take it home. Otherwise, you have to give it to the government. You can't take it home. See, the president goes to some place, they give a gift. Srikanth says, I'll take it home. No. Up to a certain value, you take it to your house or whatever. But beyond that, it will be kept in Rashtrapati Bhavan or it will be kept in Raj Bhavan for display, or it will be stored in a separate godown like that. It cannot be taken by that individual. Section 3 shall not apply to the acceptance by any, we already saw that. From his, so this is, E is very, very important. Okay? E is very, very important. Exception E is very, very important. Why? Because it was recently amended. In 2022, July 1st, this amendment was made. So, any amount received from a relative, so if you are an individual and you are receiving any money from a relative by way of donation, no problem. Please receive it. But there is a limit of 10 lakhs per financial year. Earlier, it was just 1 lakh. Then, many people needed money urgently, parents especially. So, the money has to be sent to India. So, they said, please increase this limit. So, now this limit is 10 lakhs per financial year. Any gift received from relatives in excess of 10 lakhs in a financial year, you can still accept it. There is an exception. It is not a foreign contribution. You can still accept it. But you should inform this to the central government in Form FC1 within 3 months from the date of receipt. Within 3 months from the date of receipt. And remember, if this money is routed through the relative and then goes as a contribution to any of the prohibited people, please note it, to any of the prohibited people, not allowed. Indirect is not allowed. By way of remittance received in the ordinary course of business through any official channel, post office, or any authorized person in foreign exchange under the FEMA. Okay. So, any normal channel, if you're receiving under FEMA, no problem. By way of any scholarship, stipend, or any payment of like nature. So, some foreign government is giving a scholarship or a stipend, no problem, take it. So, this is the exceptions to Section 3. Right. There's been an amendment, 1 lakh has become 10 lakh. Also, that information to the central government should be done online and in the MHA website. Just like you have the MCA, you have to do this in the MHA website by uploading Form FC1. Earlier, the limit was 30 days, time limit. Now, within 3 months, you have to do it. Within 3 months, you have to do it. Okay. Mr. Jackal, what a name here. A candidate for election received rupees 2,000 from his brother, a citizen of Norway, on 15/1/2021. Will this be considered as foreign contribution? Amount received from relative is not foreign contribution. But as the amount exceeds 1 lakh, $2,000, right? So roughly, if you calculate $80, 80 rupees per 1,60,000 roughly. So more than 1 lakh. Therefore, Mr. Jackal should upload FC1 on or before. Be careful. Now, the limit is 10 lakhs and the due date is 3 months. Okay. So, in this case, under the old law, this was uploading was needed. Under the new law, there is no need because the amount does not exceed 10 lakhs. But if it exceeds 10 lakhs, then Mr. Jackal should upload FC1 on or before expiry of 3 months. But the point to be noted is where foreign contribution is accepted for the above purposes or in any of the above circumstances, such contribution is exempted even if received by a person prohibited under Section 3. So even though Jackal is a candidate for election, since the money is coming from his brother, it is an exempted activity. Therefore, allowed, though he is a person to whom it is prohibited. Okay. So, now we move on to foreign hospitality. There is a restriction on acceptance of foreign hospitality by the following categories of person. They have to get the prior permission of central government, meaning Ministry of Home Affairs, before accepting foreign hospitality while visiting any country or a territory outside India. Like members of a legislature. See, they use the word territory because there are, I'm sure you are aware, there are still certain territories like Hong Kong and all, which have not been, in those days, Hong Kong had not received country status. Okay, it was part of mainland China. So it was a territory. So that's why they use the word territory also. So members of a legislature, office bearers of political parties, judges, government servants, employees of any corporation or any other body owned or controlled by government, all these people should not go receive foreign hospitality. It shall not be necessary to obtain such permission for an emergent medical aid needed on account of sudden illness contracted during a visit outside India. I don't know why they use the word emergent. Unfortunately, emergency is correct. Emergent means arising. But arising on account of what? So emergent, emerging, emergent. Okay, emergency. So what happens? This man goes abroad with all permission, etc. Suddenly has some problem. He has to be admitted. Then in a hospital, the local government says, we'll take care of you. Allowed. You cannot obtain prior permission, boss. It's emergency, medical aid. So he can be admitted. And later on, he can come and inform the government and take their permission. So, any person mentioned above wishing to receive foreign hospitality shall apply online to the central government. Invitation letter from host or the host country and administrative clearance from concerned ministry, etc. should be given. Application. So, if you are a normal individual like you or I, whenever we want to go abroad, we just simply take it, get the visa, take the passport, go. But for a government servant cannot do. He has to get his approval from his ministry, and also he has to get it from his concerned ministry, and also he has to make an application to the Ministry of Home Affairs, and 2 weeks before the date of onward journey, and then they will clear it. Then he can go for accepting that. See, but if he's using his own money, nobody can ask him. Hello, he may be a government servant, but if he's using his own money, traveling abroad, nobody can ask him. It's only when he's going on a free tour, funded by somebody, then he has to be careful. So acceptance of foreign hospitality in connection with emergent medical needs should be intimated to CG within 1 month of the receipt of the same. So once you come back within 1 month, you inform, I was in Korea and I had a sudden knee injury. Then I was admitted in a Korean hospital and I was treated by them. I didn't pay for it, for information. Thank you. That's all. Cases where prior approval of MHA is not required, exceptions. Where the entire expenditure is being met by the central or state government of any center. Think about it. This exception itself is foolish exception because what is being prohibited? Foreign hospitality. Whereas it is being entirely funded by Indian government. Yeah, where is the foreign hospitality here? So anyway, it is exempted. Where the proposed foreign visit is being undertaken by a person in his or her own personal capacity. And the entire expense is being borne by that person. See, I am putting my money. Where the foreign hospitality is being provided by an Indian national living in a foreign country. Indian national, not a foreigner, Indian national living in a foreign country. Cases involving acceptance of an assignment on salary, fee or remuneration, etc., where you go there as part of an assignment. No problem. So they are going to pay you a salary, fee or remuneration. Along with that, they take care of your travel and stay also. No problem. Cases involving funding offered by an agency, organization mentioned in Annexure 2. There are certain funding agencies like UN, United Nations and all, where they are calling you as part of the funding. You are going there. No problem. Take the hospitality. Cases involving visits undertaken by the members of an Indian parliamentary delegation under bilateral exchange. So the French government and Indian government have bilateral exchange. So the members of Indian parliament are going abroad to France to see how the whole French country is improving and all. So those guys are coming to India bilaterally. So our man goes there, free hospitality. They come here, we provide. Over. See, what happened once, there was a Indian minister for transport. It's a fictional story, no real individualism, just for a joke. In the current transport minister or any past transport minister not implicated in the story. Just a joke. So this guy goes all the way there, roadways minister, he goes all the way there, and he meets his counterpart in France. So after all the official visa over, evening dinner they have in the French minister's residence in the river in Paris, on the side of the river Seine, Seine, Seine. So they were both seeing there, and then I think this guy, the Indian minister, after having enjoying the dinner, he said, "Hey, India, we can, how you are a French country, you are all saying you are advanced country, developed country, how you became so rich?" So the French minister took him to the window and he showed him a bridge on the river Seine. A new bridge had been constructed. So he said 30%. He said 30%. So this guy understood. Oh, okay, I got it. Thank you. Come back. I don't know if you have understood or not, but that guy understood. Oh, okay, 30%. Wow, great. So he came back. Then again, this French minister came on the bilateral exchange to India. So then finally, after everything is over, evening, Yamuna on the river, Yamuna side of the river, Yamuna, our friend is having a huge palatial bungalow, 15 grounds bungalow he is having. So the French minister gets really upset. He said, "Hey, come on, France is a developed country. I'm able to do all this. How you are doing this, man? How you are being so rich?" So he came, "Come with me." So I took him to the window, showed him the Yamuna, beautiful Yamuna, broad river Yamuna, as it winds through Delhi. And he said, "Are you able to see that bridge there like that?" The French minister said, "There is no bridge there like that." "Hey, that is 100%, yeah." Okay. I hope it's a joke. Huh? I'm trying, in addition to teaching company law and economic laws, I am also teaching you humor, which is also an important quality for a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So I hope you got the joke. Okay. So there's no bridge, yeah, 100%. Okay. Budget was prepared, everything done, but no bridge. 100%. Okay. Chalo. Now, cases involving visits. Okay, just a joke, just to make things lively. I hope it did. Cases involving visits undertaken in pursuance of bilateral agreement between the government of India and the government of a country concerned, approved by the Minister of Finance, Department of Economics. So, see, bilateral visits, where this guy goes there and sees that guy comes there, like in the story, allowed, free, go. Cases involving long-term, short-term foreign training courses. See, the chief commissioners of income tax across India are going to be trained in the United States on transfer pricing. So they're going. They are being funded by a foreign government. No problem, go. Because it's a long-term foreign training course approved by the ministry. Please go and learn and come. TP. How to handle TP cases. Go, come. So on and so forth. So these exemptions for foreign contribution. So now we have come to the stage. What I will do, I think we have studied well. Let us, okay, we'll finish 5 and then I will stop for 5-10 minutes. Certain organizations may not be registered as a political party, but their activities and ideologies may be closely aligned to the registered political party. Are you able to understand what I'm saying? I can't give names here because it's a institute class. Political party is there. There is an association. We know that these two people are, though this association is claiming to be a non-profit organization, his ideology is to promote the ideology of the political party. Maybe they will do some charitable work also. No doubt. They might run schools. They might do charity. They might do poor feeding. Nobody questions their intentions are honorable. But bottom line, ideology. See, the ideology is there. This is provided with the party. Unless you are obeying that ideology, you might not be helped by them, like that. Okay. So it is not charity for charity's sake, but we want to promote the ideology. Sometimes that is when, I have been very much disillusioned by such organizations where their goal is not to promote the welfare of humanity, but to promote the ideology of certain political party. It's very difficult to align ourselves with such parties or such parties. Also, sometimes they could be working against the government. Sometimes, can't say. So this section empowers the central government to identify these organizations and notify them as organization of a political nature. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know how far it is true, certain Christian missionaries, okay, I'm not trying to point out anything here. I'm not at all having any proof. There's always a suspicion and people keep on stating that these missionaries come and do charity. They come and do charity. They help poor people. No doubt about it. They go to the poorest of the poor slums and they do. But at the bottom of it, their ideology goal is to convert. So this is nothing to do with political party. I'm just saying, in those cases, there might be an issue. We'll see that later. Here, we are talking about ideology of a political party. So closely aligned to the ideology. No. So in those cases, that organization will be notified as an organization of a political nature. Thereafter, they will be treated as if they are organization of political nature. See, foreign contribution cannot be received by an organization of political nature. Am I correct? 3(1)(f). Not allowed. So, how to decide that? It is the central government Ministry of Home Affairs who will decide. For that, the central government should be satisfied that an organization is of political nature, having regard to its activities and the ideology propagated by it. Notice in writing to be given to the concerned organization, informing it of the grounds on which it is to be notified. That organization can make a representation to the central government within 30 days as to why it should not be so notified. Then central government may entertain the representation even after the expiry of 30 days if sufficient cause is shown. And the central government may, if it considers it appropriate, forward the representation made by such organization to any authority to report on such representation. Finally, after receiving the report and all that, and the report, etc., they will declare, okay, as an organization of a political nature, not being a political party, and make it reported. Once it is done, then the prohibition will apply to them also. Every order under this section shall be made within 120 days. You can't simply keep the sword of Damocles hanging. Once you started the proceedings, it should be over within 120 days. From the date of issue of notice informing the grounds, or within a further period of 60 days maximum for reasons stated. Otherwise, the whole proceeding will fall. I have to keep quiet. Right? Section 7. Very, 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 very powerful. It caused a huge problem. When it was introduced, the amendment was introduced in 2020. It caused huge havoc. No person who is registered and granted a certificate or has obtained prior permission under this act and receives any foreign contribution shall transfer such contribution to any other person. So there were a lot of funding agencies. You see, they were receiving huge money from foreign source. Then they were getting it in bulk, and then they were evaluating NGOs who are not having FCRA and who are giving it to such key people. So long as they will, in fact, I used to do that work. That was one of my work. I used to go and do the audit and check whether that organization is doing the work for which the money was given, whether the girls have been actually given all what they want. All that we do. That was the part of the audit that we did. Now, the point I'm making is, with this Section 7 amendment, that was not possible. This funding agency should do the activity directly. It cannot transfer it to somebody else. That is, it cannot be a conduit. Conduit business is not possible like that. Earlier, the view was, you can pass on, provided all the bills, etc. are kept and given to you in original. And they are acting as your agent and doing it. But now even that is not possible. It has to be directly spent by you. Okay. Of course, we will see that a little later. Slight relaxation is there on that. Okay. Organization A is registered under FCRA, has received foreign contribution. It cannot give it to any other person. It has to spend it itself. But a person who has not been granted a see, you can transfer foreign contribution to other registered or unregistered persons. You can transfer the foreign contribution received to a person who has not been granted a certificate of registration or prior permission, provided this amount which you are giving to unregistered people shall not exceed 10% of the total value of foreign contribution received by the foreign transferor. And this also you have to do only with the prior approval by central government. See, why they have given this one exemption, you can give it to a person who has not been granted certificate. Why? Because, I'll tell you, for this you should understand how NGOs operate. Because we are trying to educate children. And See, educating children living in Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, nobody has to do, Baba. Everybody knows urban children get educated. Imagine a tribal child sitting somewhere near inside of Masanagudi, okay, or Rayagada, beyond Rayagada, inside the hills. Okay, then you will understand. To reach that place, you have to walk. Even jeep cannot go. Imagine, jeep will go up to one point. After that, the only way you will reach that village is by walk. And that child is coming to school every day and studying. And that child needs support. Who will do it? Which NGO has the capability and the grassroots level field work to do it? First to study the need. Then they will put up a small tribal school nearby, where the teachers will stay in that village and teach these children. And then slowly some of the children will be sent to the local municipality or Tahsil, and they will study. No FCRA, nothing. So we have to route this money only through him. Up to 10% you do it. Allowed. Genuine case go. That is why you have to get the prior approval by siege. You have to justify so much why this money has to be given to a non-FCRA person. But I'm giving you a genuine example. I have seen cases like I have visited those villages and I have met those tribal children and I have understood how difficult it is. See, the Kartanayakas, recently the Elephant Whisperer, there's a movie there. I have been to that place. And what you see is the outskirts of Masanagudi. Inside the forest they live. The Kartanayakas live inside the forest. I've been to their houses. Okay, and I've been part, they will play the drum and all. They are so proud of it, and the children will come. So there is a small hut shed there built by the NGO where these children will come in the evenings and study. Because at home they cannot study. They live in small huts, in the typical huts where only lantern will be there. So electrification has happened. We have given them generator and lights are burning. They come and study. And out of that, children will become IAS officers, doctors, engineers. They are produced. The Kartanayakas have come up. Okay. So why I'm telling this to you is, and genuinely, the Kartanayakas have taken this and they have come and they have been able to grow without losing touch with their own grassroots also. So their cultures and traditions still flourish. But some of them have gone out and developed, and they are developing the community. So why I'm giving this sort of information to you, you might ask me, sir, how is it linked with finance, sir? How is it linked with numbers? How is it linked with my general ledger? It is not, sir. But it is part of the job that I do as a chartered accountant. I go there, and because money is spent there, I have to go and verify it as an auditor. But when I go there, I'm not an auditor. I'm a human being. I can audit it, no doubt about it. I can come back with the opinion. I can give a report and go. But the people are also there. Now, as to that people, I'm a person. These things I have seen with my own eyes. And I tell you how difficult it is to serve these communities. It's not easy. Sitting in government, sitting in Delhi, sitting in Chennai or sitting in Mumbai, this guy can pass an order. He doesn't understand what it is to live in that village, that Kartanayaka village. Well, after 5:30, light will be there, nothing, it will be joyful. 7 o'clock, the entire place will become dark. The fox will be shouting. Elephant will be walking this side. Just like that, it will go off. You will be able to, nothing, you have to keep quiet and sit, that's all. That is the type of place I'm talking about. Okay. So I know this may sound unnecessary for some of you who are pure chartered accountants. But no, I'm a human being first. Then I'm a chartered accountant. An all India rank holder, no doubt. And a 35-year practicing CA, but first I'm a human being. Never ever forget that. Okay. Chalo. Another exception. A person who has been given or granted a certificate of registration or prior permission, you can give. So you are a funding agency, you are receiving money from a foreign source, you can then pass it on to another person who has been granted a certificate of registration or prior permission. So, for example, there are big organizations that already have FCRA. Again, I'll tell you, there is one more organization I worked with and I still continue to work with them. It's called RAS. It's in Tirupati. It was founded by a very famous person. Okay. And it is run by them, Muniratnam Naidu. So famous trust. You cry if you go there. How much work this man has done? How much work? He's no more. He passed away. So now, recently, during Corona time, he passed away. Great loss. Padma Shri Awadi. So, Dr. Muniratnam Naidu. Great man. I've seen the type of work he's done. RAS is already having FCRA. So funding can be given directly to them. No problem. No limit. The funding agency can give directly. No. Both the transferor and the recipient shall be responsible to ensure proper utilization of the foreign contribution source. Any foreign contribution received should be used only for the purpose for which it is received. No need for prior approval by CG and all. Directly you can go. And at the end of the period, when you are filing your foreign contribution utilization report, as Prashant was saying, PCFC utilization certificate, you have to include all this and mention clearly their FCRA details. Okay. So, and the recipient should not be proceeded against under any, he should not have committed any violation under the FCRA, right? So these are the two. In fact, when we read section 7, initially we got wild. Then we said, chalo, no problem. Up to 10% you can give to unregistered. And if it is registered, any amount can be given. Thank you, Mr. Prashant. Thank you for that. Now, the time now is, we'll have a small break for about 10 minutes. A small break. Then again, we'll continue and inshallah finish this topic. So we have a small break. Sir, small break, sir. Welcome back from your tea break. So, I have been repeating again and again, any foreign contribution received by registered entities who are registered. Later on, we'll see the procedure for registration. Right now, any registered entity who is receiving foreign contribution should utilize it. That foreign contribution shall be utilized only for the purposes for which the contribution has been received. You cannot divert it, you cannot do anything. You should be very, very careful. It should come into that account, then it should be closely monitored, and it should go only for that purpose. One more thing, it cannot be utilized for speculative purposes. For example, you cannot say, while it is lying idle, I will do some derivative trading, sir, and I will resign and make some more money. And that also can be used for charity. Sorry, this money cannot be utilized. If at all, you can keep it in that account and earn some interest, that's all. It cannot be utilized for administrative purposes beyond 20% of the foreign contribution received. So that was earlier, it was 50% was allowed as administrative. Now they've restricted it to 20% of the foreign contribution. There is another problem for funding agencies, because funding agencies spend more than 20%, because they see, for example, when a funding agency receives money from a foreign source and it is distributing it all over India through 20 NGOs, handling these 20 NGOs, I need a battalion of people in my corporate office. So that cost is there. So now they said restricted 20%. The administrative point for expense cannot be beyond 20% of the foreign contribution received. Okay. You want to go beyond 20%, then you have to get prior approval of the central government and say why you need to do it and all that. See, okay, Krishnant is asking me a question. Where can I have some knowledge on grant audit? ICAI material may not have. ICAI definitely will have some guidance note on NGO audits and for grant audits and all that. The best way to learn is by doing it, sir. No other way out for it. That is why experience is the best way to learn. See, if only everything is there in the book, no, it is impossible to learn. Everybody can learn. Not like that. You need to do some work. So ideally, you should join a firm where they have grant audits. You learn automatically. Book, it's not there. And there's nothing great about it. There's nothing it's not as if grant audit is something special. It is like any other audit. Once you know the first principles of audit, it doesn't matter which is a grant or is a company, or whatever it is. How does it matter? Yeah. There's a voucher, there's an expense, there's a purpose, there's a reason. Is it all tallying? Common sense. I've taught you grant audit. That's all. How much grant you received, for what purpose you received, what are the columns? See, the grant giver would give a format. Every month you'll have to submit a utilization report. That utilization report will be there. That itself is enough. That will teach you. So what is it that they would have given different nomenclatures. Whatever it is, basically what salary, rent, then they'll give budget limits for that. You have to see whether it has been spent within that budget, whether it has been spent correctly, whether it's supported by vouchers. That's all. Okay. I'm not trying to oversimplify this work, but I'm saying it is as simple as that. Only when you get into the audit, the complications will start. Each individual unit will have different problems. Catholic institutions, churches are there, sisters of charity are there. They have one method of accounting. I have gone like that. Churches. Means not church. There will be a Catholic institution. Sisters of the Benedictine sisters are there. Then you have the Jesuit monks. The Capuchin monks are there. The Capuchin monasteries are there in Karnataka, Ujjire and all. Then, of course, you have the normal, NGOs who are, sort of activists. Okay, they do activism. Along with that, they do rural development also. Like that. So each one you have to. So when you go there, you will gain their advantage and see whether it is allowed or not. So that is how you have to improve your knowledge. No other source of ready-made material, etc. may not be there. See, institute may create something, but it will be outdated very fast. For FCRA, the ICA has published on beautiful question answer Q&A book. Beautiful Q&A book ICA has produced. I have it with me. For FCRA, the institute has produced a beautiful Q&A, frequently asked questions book. But that is when the FEMA was introduced in 2010, they did it. Sorry, when FCRA, the new law came, they did it. Beautifully, they did it. It was done beautifully. And I bought it and I read it. It was very useful. But now it is outdated. By then, too many amendments have come. Okay. So now it's out. That book is out. So it will keep on updating you. There is also. Don't worry. If you want to do grant audit, you can do it. That is why sometimes people come and ask me very, very fundamental question. Mr. Srikanth, what is your specialization? I tell them, I don't specialize in anything. If at all you want to know what is my specialization, generalization is my specialization. I can do anything. Any audit, anything I can do in matter of 2 days, I will learn what it is and I'll do it. I don't need books. I don't need ICA material and all. I just go there, see for 2 days, I will see. Maybe a little bit reference needed from the act, some authoritative people are there who know a little more than me. From them, I will learn a little more. That 1 or 2 questions. I will not go to some senior and say, I don't know anything, sir. Please teach me everything, sir. Why he will teach me? Why he will teach me? But suppose I have a specific question, I say, sir, I've done all this, but this is not out. Hey, Srikanth, this is how it have to be. Okay, thank you, sir. That's all. Like that, when you go to a learned man, he will teach you. But when you go to him and say, sir, I want to make a lot of money like you, so you are doing all this, no, you teach me how. Hey, why should he teach you? Okay, of course, in articleship, to an extent, there is a duty to teach. Otherwise, why should anybody teach? Nobody will teach you. You have to learn. You have to go to them with the attitude of learning, humility, be with them, help them. See, nobody will do anything for you if they don't get any benefit out of it. So you always ask us, what is in it for them? God did not create the whole world for your benefit. Everybody has their own goals and motives. Will your goal align with them? Then they will help you. I'm not trying to advise any of you here, but I'm saying these are the fundamental practicalities of life. If you don't accept it and you expect everybody is having some duty to help you, maybe some teachers like me will come and once in a while we will do it as a Vidya Dhanam, we will give it and go, or as a matter of, we will give. But not everybody has to do it. And you cannot demand it as a right from them, is all I'm trying to say. But if you go to them in the attitude of, humility and tell them, please help me, they may teach you. But they will also expect you to do something in return. Nobody will do anything free. Just get this into your mind. There's no compulsion that the whole world should help you. Nobody will. 21-year-old Srikanth, nobody was willing to help. He helped himself. Okay, he set up his own practice. He started. He did it. Nobody is that help. But anybody to whom I rendered a good service became my friend. They helped me. So whenever I did good for them, they did good for me. But fundamentally, no way they can do this. And I never specialized in anything. Any work I will do. Return filing, salary return filing, tax audit, FEMA, RBI, FCRA, anything I will do. Even now, my firm does not specialize in anything. GST we will do. Anything we will do. We are right up to GST representation we will do. Income tax, of course. Express, of course. Everything we will do. Nothing that we, enforcement directorate, I will go. Anything I will do. No specialization. Okay, that is why we are having a lot of practice. Otherwise, if I'm going to specialize, sometimes I may get specialization in one area. That itself will become. So, for example, fringe benefit tax specialist. No use today. There is no fringe benefit tax. VAT specialist. No use today. There is no VAT, only GST. Service tax specialist. No use today. You should become GST specialist now. Like that. Sorry for giving this elaborate point, but youngsters, it would be great if you think the way I'm thinking, rather than specializing. See, today wherever I go, I'm asking youngsters, I'm finding, Mr. Srikanth, I'm specializing in forensic audit. Like that. I'm a certified information systems auditor. CISA. Okay. Why I did CISA? Because it's going to help me in my audit. That's all. I'm not specialized in IS audit. No way. Okay. I'm not a specialist in IS, but I do IS audit. Okay. Specializations are funny. If you want to become a specialist, then that only you should do. You should be at the national level. There'll be only 6 specialists on that matter. 7 specialists in one matter. Only national level, only 7 people, 8 people will be there. You're going to go and join that group. Imagine the type of knowledge that you should have. Imagine the type of depth you should have. And that too only in that area. You cannot go anywhere else. After that, say goodbye to everything else. Only that. Only then you can keep up with that. So nothing wrong in specializing. But remember the type of expert knowledge that you'll have to accumulate and demonstrate. You should be a nationally present author, write a book, and you should have published article after article. People should invite you for giving a talk only on the topic, means call him. Then, yes, you are ready for specialization. That won't happen on day one. It takes time. Experience is needed. Everything is needed. So sorry if I have disappointed some of you by the way I'm talking and make you feel, no, he is telling things. Not like that. Telling the reality of life. Okay, don't specialize for 5-10 years. Yeah. 5 years, at least don't specialize more. Wait, watch. What gives you passion? Maybe you will specialize there. Day one, if everybody is doing forensic audit, I will also specialize in forensic audit because my husband also going to Kacheri. Don't do that. Just float. Do everything. Earn money, grow, or work in a company, learn, grow. Slowly something will emerge and say, hey, I like this. Then you learn more about it. Then you become authority on it. Then you become specialist on it. That is how it happens. Specializations happen like that. You don't choose to become a specialist anywhere. You get the opportunity, then you develop it like that. I know what I'm talking may sound a little unnecessary to some of you, but this is the reality of it. Because when I'm conducting advanced MCS classes, sometimes students come to me and ask me this type of questions. I feel very sad how to reply and how to answer them without disappointing them. Like that, I will think. Sometimes I will say, yeah, absolutely correct. Specialize in forensic. That is the best thing to do. Go ahead and do it like that, I will tell. Because if I tell anything, he won't understand. No? So take it like that, I will tell. Okay, speculative activities. Any activity or investment that has an element of risk, of appreciation or depreciation. Participation in any scheme that promises high returns, like investment in chits land, not allowed. Foreign contribution cannot be invested in mutual fund shares, chits, land, etc. Okay. Of course, again, within this, there might be, for example, chit fund is not a bad idea. See, as it was Kuris and all in Kerala, and in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, 4 states, chits were very famous. Chit funds. It's an indigenous method of raising finance in small, places, towns and all. So nothing wrong in that. So if it is part of a microcredit system and your objective is to promote microcredit among rural people, okay, but be careful. It should not be speculative. So, an association registered under the Foreign Contribution Election Act 2010, which is called the Act, received donation from a club registered in Singapore. Club registered in Singapore is a foreign source. Okay. The association proposes to transfer 10%. So first question, is it a foreign source? Yes. Like that only you have to start. If it is a foreign source, then any amount received from them is foreign contribution. Okay. So is this association registered? Yes, it is registered. Can it receive donation? Yes, it can. Now what it wants to do, it wants to transfer 10% of the donation to Home for Aged Society, an unregistered person. Can do. 10% allowed. 15% to the welfare club, a registered person under the Act. Okay. So can they do that? Yes. They can give up to 10% to unregistered and 15% to welfare club. No problem. In that. To invest portion of the donation in chit, promising high returns. No, not allowed. In the light of the provisions of FCRA. So there are 2 questions here for which you are getting 6 marks, which means the marks will be divided as 4 and 2. 4, which means out of 1, they will give 2 marks for Home for Aged and 2 marks for welfare club. Then another 2 for chit. That's all. You will earn your 6. For 6, they may not give you 6. If you write correctly, they'll give you 4.5, 4, 4.5, 5. Maximum 5. Neat handwriting, nicely written. About 7 lines, 8 lines. You will get, for 6, you will get 5 marks. That is how you have to plan. Because I am explaining how to write answer in the exam. Don't now put again one more. Sir, please explain how to get high marks in the exam. That is what I am doing now. Listen to me. Okay. Each question you have to answer. When you look at the question, you should decide how much marks. How am I going to answer? How I am going to score? Marks per minute, You guys all watch IPL, right? Run rate is there, na? Every run you have to get, every ball you have to get a run, na? Like that, every minute there's a marks per minute. Every minute you sit in that exam hall, write something, mark. If you are not getting mark, don't write. If your time fixed for one question is 10 minutes, you write that question in 10 minutes. If you write anything beyond what is needed, every extra minute, you are not getting marks. And you are eating into another question where you can get marks. Time is very, very important. Cut it. If you think this will go a little long, don't worry. Sort of roughly close it, and then go to the next question. Go to the next. Finally, you would have 10-20 minutes at the end. Come back and write. Strictly follow this rule. I mean, all this may sound unnecessary or boring, but think about it. That is how you get a rank. Because every mark counts. And as marks keep accumulating, by the time you finish the paper and come out, you know how much mark you would have got. Yeah. Most of the time when I walked out of the exam hall, I knew with a margin of 10% this way, that way, how much marks I will get. I knew with a margin. So usually the margin would be like 45 to 60, 45 to 55, 45 to 55, or 54 to 59. Like that, I will have a margin. In that range, I will get, like that, I will say. So 10% is in aggregate or separately? 10% of the total value of foreign contribution received by the transferor. Total. So in the year, you have to see how much you have received. Out of that 10%, you can give to unregistered in the aggregate to answer your question. Okay, so sorry, maybe I didn't stress that point here. So again, I'm stressing it. Total value of FC received by the transfer. Okay. Chalo, moving on. What is administrative expenses? Salaries, wages, travel expenses, or any remuneration realized by the members of the executive committee or governing council. Means administrative salaries. Okay. All expenses towards hiring of personnel for management of the activities. And salaries and wages of any kind remuneration paid, including cost. That's what I said. Now, some of these large funding agencies, they would have a battalion of people sitting in corporate office. They will be monitoring the utilization, receiving the budgets, compiling it, sending it to the foreign donor. All that they'll be doing. But then that work has nothing to do with the ultimate purpose of the donation, which is welfare of the poor children. So it is treated as administrative. All expenses related to consumables like electricity, water charges, telephone, postal, repairs, from where the organization is functioning, stationery, printing charges, etc., travel of the executive committee or governing council. All this is administrative. So they are not saying don't have administrative expenses. They are saying restricted to 20%. Fair deal. Then if you can't do, see, many organizations further, see, for example, we have Rotary Club where, Rotary, we have a Rotary Foundation. Now, Rotary Foundation collects donation from Rotarians like me. Finally, when we all contribute to Rotary Foundation, the entire amount is given for charity. Why? Because most of the administrative work is taken care by Rotary clubs and Rotarians out of their pocket. We don't charge Rotary Foundation for that. See, when pulse polio was introduced, the polio drops used to be procured and it was given to us, individual Rotarians. We will see to it that it reaches the hospitals, the medical centers, and the doctors will come and do free. And they will give, polio inoculation will happening in the schools on that day, pulse polio day. So the idea was to eradicate polio. So there in Rotary Foundation, administrative cost is bare minimum 1 to 2% of the total. It is possible. Okay. Because Rotarians spend it. We will sponsor it. Out of our pocket, we will put. And we will absorb it, or we will treat it as our expense and we'll push it off. No, I mean, not business expense, personal expense. No claim will be made. Cost of accounting and administering funds is an administrative expense. Expense towards running and maintenance of vehicles. Cost of writing and filing reports. Legal and professional charges. Rent of premises. All this is, etc. But be careful. Expenditure incurred on salaries and remuneration of persons engaged in training or collection or analysis of field data. This will not be counted. Please note, up to here, this will constitute as administrative. These two items not to be counted. See, we are engaging people to go to the field and collect data. And the organization is engaged in research and training. So that is part of the organizational goal. That is not administrative. Similarly, expenses incurred directly in the furtherance of the stated objectives, such as salaries to doctors, hospitals, salaries to teachers, etc. See, when this Aid Awareness and Eradication Association, they used to say, okay, etc. So that way, many people don't know. In fact, Again, to tell you this personal story, I was auditor for this national level INP Plus, Indian Network for People Living with HIV. The first founder president, okay, Ashok Pillai and I, we have stood in the same forum on the dais, and I have spoken to them about governance, corporate governance and all, to the district level networks and state level network presidents and secretaries. Then finally, I'm an auditor. I'm not anyway, and I'm not a social worker, or I'm not a counselor. I'm nothing. Just an auditor. They're coming for talking to them on governance. But Ashok Pillai and I are very close, and I know how much he's doing for this cause of the people living with HIV/AIDS, INP plus positive people. So what I did was, on that dais, I said, Ashok, come here. And I went in front of everybody and said, take a photograph. And I hugged Ashok. I hugged him. And I said, take a photograph. I'm going to give this photograph to all my friends. Let them know that nothing will happen if you touch or hug a person with AIDS. Nothing will happen. There was a movie called Aruvi, which was taken later in Tamil about this. But I have seen Aruvi long before I have seen people. People I will meet 6 months ago, I would have met them. They would be hale and healthy. Next time when I meet them, they will be totally gone. And next time I hear what happened, no sir, Mittalji passed away. Like that, I have had experiences in that organization. For the audit, we still continue to be their auditors, but peak funding, no. Beauty was the organization was so successful, the AIDS became total. Now AIDS is not such a serious problem as it was in those days. Awareness. So the organization lost its own meaning. Can you imagine an organization which achieved its purpose and became no need anymore, like that? Okay. So this is not. So why I'm saying that these doctors will be there in the hospital. There will be teachers teaching the children with AIDS. Can't even imagine that, my dear friends. I can't even share that with you. Those moments and all I cannot share with you. But some hope stories are also there. One girl, both parents are AIDS. This girl completed computer course and she's now employed in Kakinada. I met her. Felt so happy when I saw that. And I felt so proud, that this organization is doing all these things. Okay, like that. Good. The CG shall be satisfied that acceptance of foreign contribution by any person. So this is section 9, where they have the power to prohibit foreign contribution by any person. So for that, the CG, the central government here is Ministry of Home Affairs, shall be satisfied that acceptance of foreign contribution is likely to affect prejudicially the sovereignty and integrity of India, public interest, freedom of fairness of election to any legislature, friendly relation with any foreign state, harmony between religious, racial, social, linguistic, regional groups, castes or communities. So when some discord is trying to be caused, or prohibit the organization from. So if these are there, then they can prohibit the organization from accepting foreign contribution, require the organization to obtain prior permission, require unregistered organization to furnish details as to foreign contribution received, require any registered organization to obtain prior permission before accepting foreign contribution, require such person to provide details as to receipt of foreign hospitality and the source and manner of the receipt thereof. Now, this is an extreme case. See, recently, about 1 year ago, certain organizations were not registered, given registration under FCRA. Refused. That comes later, where they refuse to give. This is prohibition itself. Because what you are doing is obviously anti-national. Don't do it. Stop it. It's a very powerful law. FCRA is a very powerful law. So where the central government is satisfied, after making any such inquiry, that any person has any article, currency or security which has been accepted by such person in contravention of the provisions of this act, then he may by order in writing prohibit such person from paying, delivering, transferring or otherwise dealing with such article. And once this declaration comes, it will be treated as unlawful means, obtained by unlawful means. Right? So we have seen definitions, we have seen prohibition on foreign contribution, we have seen when it can be accepted, exceptions, foreign hospitality, when it can be accepted, and how it should be utilized. All that we have seen. Now we go to registration, the purely procedural part of FCRA, right? Two modes are there. You want to receive foreign contribution, you are an NGO, non-government organization, you want to receive foreign contribution. First is ideally get registered and receive. Or if it is one time, get prior permission and get it. Generally, registration is better because once you go through the process, okay, it's all online application. They will ask you some queries, you submit it. That's all. You should have 12A ETG, your organization activity report, and all that. If you're able to show that you're a genuine organization, now that's why I always tell my clients, get a report with a lot of photographs in it. Show what you're doing instead of just writing it. Show photographs, give visuals. See, if you're, for example, one project for one organization was giving a goat to a certain, remote backward area in Andhra Pradesh, Rayalaseema district. I've gone to the villages, very, very remote. So I said, hey, give me photographs of the goats. Yeah, what are the goats? Where, who, which family? Show me. I want to see the goat. Okay. So I went around seeing every house. I went about 15 houses. I randomly selected. I went to the house and I asked, okay, do you have the goat? Where is it? Show me the goat. They bought the goat. And so, but one goat can turn around a family. One goat can turn around a family. They can do so much with that goat and earn. And then the children would be, see, the idea is if you want the children to survive, the parents should be given some kind of livelihood. No? So livelihood should be promoted like that. I mean, it is a very, very fascinating subject. I'm sorry to bore you with all these unnecessary stories and all, but yeah. So every person having a definite cultural, economic, educational, religious or social program shall accept FC only after obtaining a certificate of registration from the central government. This application is to be done in Form FC3A together with an affidavit by the key functionary. Okay. Once it is given, such a registration or prior permission will be valid for 5 years. Where a person is not registered with the CG, it may accept FC only after obtaining prior permission, FC3B. Okay. Prasant has put FC3C. I don't know where he gets it from. These are all online forms which you can download and upload or directly fill in and send it. Such prior permission shall be valid only for the specific purpose. So registration, 5 years. Prior permission only for the specific purpose. And it will be valid for 5 years, but only for a specific purpose. Nothing else. Section 12 lays down the conditions for grant of certificate of registration under FCRA. The person making the application is not a fictitious or benami, has not been prosecuted or convicted, all that for communal tension, or found guilty of misutilization of funds, propagation of sedition, or advocate violent methods to achieve illicit ends. So that's unfortunately where Maoists and Naxalites are there. Sedition. Sedition means good citizens, you tell them to act against the lawful government of a country violently. That's called sedition. Anything that induces people to do things that are against the government of a lawfully elected government of a country. It's called sedition. Because that will undermine democracy. See, you don't agree with what the government is doing, you are entitled to protest, but not to burn bridge, bomb bridge, or kill innocent people, or bomb bus in which school children are traveling. You're not entitled to do that. And that is not the way you promote your cause. You just protest about it. So I can tell you so many things. Across the country, I've traveled for NGOs. Tell you, and this is only about 25% of my time. And the rest, I was doing a lot of commercial work. It's not as if I'm a specialist in NGO. Don't get that impression. The little bit 25% work I did, I can tell you all these things. I can tell you how Dalit activism. I have worked with people who work for Dalits. And that too means in Dalit itself, there is one community called Arundhatiya, who are seen as less than that are lowest of the low. Imagine. So we are talking about hierarchy. Finally, the Dalits, within the Dalits, they say he is untouchable. Arundhatiya. Okay. What is this here? How low can we go into this? Okay. And so their welfare is to be promoted. Okay, like that. So section 12 lays down the conditions for grant of certificate of registration under FCRA. Okay. The person making an application registration should not be fictitious benami. These are all simple. Yeah. He should not be prosecuted or convicted for creating communal tension or etc. etc. Similarly, is not likely to use the foreign contribution for personal gain or divert it for undesirable purposes, has not contravened any of the provisions of this Act, has not been prohibited from accepting foreign contribution. The person being an individual, such individual has neither been convicted under any law or prosecution. All this, see, genuine people. So usually the Ministry of Home Affairs will do a sort of check they will do to see whether this organization is, whether that person who is the key functionary, applicant and all are honorable people. Then the government will give certain conditions. They say this should not affect the sovereignty, all that. Okay. Freedom of fairness of election of nothing should be. You should not use the money for any of these purposes. I don't want to read it for you again because we already saw that. If any of this is done, then prohibition will be there under 9. Okay. Okay. Once the application is made to the central government may register such person within 90 days and grant a certificate. In case of refusal, CG shall record the reasons and furnish the copy. This is what happened to the Sisters of Charity in Kolkata. They were refused and for reasons. Then subsequently, I think they got it clarified and they were registered. So the certificate granted shall be valid for 5 years and the prior permission will be valid only for the specific purpose and specific amount. Whereas once you are registered, you can use it for any purpose for which your organization is entitled. Whatever is your purpose, you can do. Whereas here, specific purpose here means, for example, you are building a toilet block in a corporation school. So for that, a foreign donor is willing to give money. So you get the money from him now. That money should be utilized on prior permission only for the construction of the building, toilet block, nothing else. In case the holder of the certificate has made an incorrect or false statement or violated any of the terms and conditions, violated any of the provisions of this Act, etc., or if the holder of the certificate has not been engaged in any reasonable activity in its chosen field for the benefit of the society for 2 consecutive years, or has become defunct, in the opinion of the central government, is necessary in the public interest to cancel the certificate. Okay, the central government may, by an order, cancel the certificate if any of the above grounds exist. No order of cancellation of certificate under this section shall be made unless the person concerned has been given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. So we saw application, we saw cancellation, refusal also is there, cancellation. See, you might ask me, sir, in case there is a refusal, what to do? See, remember, there is no appellate provision here. So the only thing you can do is you can go to the appropriate, you can go to the Supreme Court or High Court on a writ. Okay? And you have to tell them that we applied for this, they didn't give, unreasonably they are doing it. So a writ of mandamus you have to go. You have to pray for the writ of mandamus against the government. Directing the government, writ of mandamus is directing the person to do something or not to do something. So writ of mandamus saying grant like that. The Supreme Court may decide and they may give. Then central government, once the Supreme Court gives the order, they have to obey. Okay. That is how it is. This is the only remedy you have. No other remedy. If there's no appeal, writ down. You just go running, go on a writ. And first of all, they will stay. They will say, as of now, we are staying. Means whatever cancellation order has been passed is stayed. Wait. Then case will go on. Then finally, we will say whether its cancellation is valid or not. If we say it is not valid, remove it. If we say it is valid, continues. In the meantime, let them continue. Status quo should prevail like that. All these are powers of the court. Okay. Again, sorry to keep on giving you bhashan like this, but boss, as a chartered accountant, you should know all these things, yeah. Because you have to advise your client. Now, you cannot go to court and get it, but you have to advise the client. The NGO comes, what to do, Srikanth, what to do, or what to do, Prashant, what to do. Immediately say, wait, call the law. Your advocate, you should have a panel advocate. Because, sir, this is how the case is, sir. What do we do? Srikanth, send them immediately. We will file a writ. Cost, etc. Explain to them, send them. So that relief has to be done. Because the chartered accountant in practice is the first point of contact for both legal and accounting matters. You are the first point of contact. So you should give them reasonable advice on what is the course of action. Possibly guide them to a good professional who will help them to do it. Okay. This much knowledge you and I should possess, because we are the first professional to whom the client or the person will come with the problem. They don't know what the problem is. So, but they're thinking, hey, auditor will tell me, yeah, let me go. So you cannot say, no, that was not in my syllabus. I didn't study law. So kindly writ and all was not in my syllabus. No, I'm not aware of it. You do one thing, you go to somebody, I don't know. Like that, you cannot tell. Then they will not be your client. They will go away to some other auditor, possibly like me, who will give them comprehensive advice. Totality solution. Okay. Now, here we talk about cancellation. Once a person's certificate has been cancelled, then he shall not be eligible for registration or grant of prior permission for a period of 3 years. Schooling. Keep quiet like that. So be careful. Whatever. Don't get it cancelled. Circumstances when certificate may be suspended. So see what happened one case. They opened a bank account in the designated bank account of the State Bank, which is to be opened in State Bank of India Parliament branch. They opened it. But at the end of the period, that was opened now. But one donor foolishly sent it to the old FCRA bank. And that was received by the bank also. The bank should not have received it. So I told them, boss, first thing, send the money back. Ask him to send it again to the designated bank. There's no other way. And ask the bank to send it back immediately to him, to his account. That's all. Then you are not violating any law. But the minute you use this or the banker permits you to use it, you are violating the law. That could result in cancellation. So be careful. So that is why I say send it back. Then matter of 1 week, let it come back to this account. Then utilize it. No problem. So similarly, central government, while considering the cancellation, shall suspend the certificate. So you cannot accept it. During the suspension period, you cannot accept any foreign contribution. So up to 180 days, it can be suspended. Okay. Then any person whose certificate has been cancelled under this section, you cannot come back for 3 years, as we already saw that. Every person whose certificate has been suspended shall not receive any foreign contribution during the period of suspension, except with the permission of CG. And whatever is already accepted cannot be utilized without the prior approval of central government. Okay. Now, in case there is any unutilized amount, okay, 25% may be spent with prior approval of CG for the declared objects. The remaining 75% means you suspended or cancelled. During suspension, you cannot use. What to do? 25% you use it. Balance 75%, okay, you have to send it back. Okay, I mean, you have to use it only after the revocation of suspension of this. Otherwise, it will be returned back. That's all. Also, you can go to the central government and surrender the certificate. Then after ensuring that you have not violated any rule or law and all, they will allow you to surrender it. And that's it. You are over. That's over. But I've rarely seen surrender because nobody wants to surrender. Renewal. We saw that it is valid only for 5 years. So every person who has been granted a certificate shall have such certificate renewed within 6 months before the expiry of the period of the certificate. For the application for renewal of certificate shall be made to the central government in form FC3C. Okay. Renewal. Prashantji, I hope you noted the point. Okay. FC3C, renewal. Okay. And again, you should put the requisite fee to be paid is 1,500. Central government may, before renewing the certificate, make such inquiry as it deems fit, etc., etc. However, in case the central government does not renew the certificate, it shall communicate the reasons. Central government may refuse in case the person has violated any of the provisions of this act. That's why I will tell them, please do not do anything that will amount to violation. However well-intentioned, don't do it. Because tomorrow we cannot go to the Ministry of Home Affairs and say, we utilized it for the purpose, etc. But it came through the wrong account. The central government shall renew the certificate ordinarily within 90 days. Okay. And again, it will be renewed for a period of 5 years. In case no application for renewal of registration is received, or it is not accompanied with the requisite fee, the validity shall be deemed to have ceased from the date of completion of the period of 5 years. If the validity of the certificate of registration has ceased, then a fresh request has to be made. It's a fresh request, not a renewal. Okay. And in case a person provides sufficient grounds explaining the reasons for not submitting the registration for renewal within the stipulated time, it can be accepted with a late fee of 5,000, but not later than 1 year after the expiry of the original certificate. See, what we normally do for all our NGO clients, see, we have two cases. One accepting foreign contribution, one not accepting. So those who are accepting foreign contribution, we have an additional activity, which is FCRA registration renewal and all. So what we do, we maintain a register. We have an online reminder. That's whenever it's going to, 6 months before I have to renew now. 3 months before that, we remind them, hey, you have to renew, be careful, be careful. And they do it. Okay. Now, I was telling you, 17, receipt of the FC into designated account. So initially when the section came out, people went mad because everybody had a convenient FCRA account which was near their office. Now they said it should be opened in the State Bank of India at New Delhi. Okay, that too, that Parliament Street branch. but then it was all done online. There was no problem. Once we started doing it, we found that it is seamless and the online account is open, online operation. Once you open that SP account, all foreign contributions should be routed only through that account. No other account. But from that account, you can open other accounts for utilizing the foreign contribution. Please note, the utilization account cannot receive foreign contribution. All foreign contribution should come to SBI. From SBI, you can use. Why? Because you can't always operate the SBI account. So what we do, we generally advise our clients, have the SBI account. Then wherever the project is, open an account. Designate it as utilization account and transfer from SBA, reconcile it. So that when we prepare the final return of thing, we can do it. Okay. So the person can also open other accounts for utilizing the foreign contribution. Alleged purpose for the somewhat cumbersome procedure is to ensure tighter monitoring at both source as well as disbursal. So I think that's not a bad idea because now all the money will come into SBA. Sansad Marg, as he says. I don't know. Prashant, are you in Delhi? Have you been to Delhi? Have you seen Sansad Marg? It's one of the radial roads leading out of Connaught Circus. Beautiful Sansad Marg. Okay. It's a beautiful road. One of my favorite walking points. When I'm in Delhi, morning walk, I do like one circle around Connaught Place sometimes. Or this side I go. It's a nice place. I'll cut across Sansad Marg and sometimes. So, the alleged purpose of this somewhat cumbersome procedure ensure tighter monitoring at both sources as well. I mean, initially when it came, we were all frustrated. But now I think it's okay. We are not unhappy so long as they are happy. That is, the government of India is happy. So they are happy. Sometimes people ask me, Mr. Srikanth, are you happy? I say, forget whether I'm happy or not. I'm not unhappy. Because being happy is very difficult. How long can a person be kept happy? But keeping not unhappy position, yes. Okay. So long as, you get into unhappiness, then you come back to not unhappy. Happy is the big problem. You can't be happy forever. Come back. So not unhappy is a different position. Think about it. Being not unhappy. Okay. Because happiness is high maintenance activity. You have to keep on feeding happiness. You have to keep on doing things that will give you happiness. Whereas not unhappy is a nice position to be, where you have to do nothing. Just simply don't bother. Summa is in Tamil. Ramana said, you're not unhappy. Keep on doing. No funds other than foreign contributions received or deposited in any such account. We have to be very, very careful. Okay. Now, intimation of foreign contribution by recipient. Every person who has been granted a certificate or given prior approval shall give an intimation to the central government. Okay. Electronically, online in form FC4. That's what you're told now. Okay, Prashant is talking about it. FC4. With scanned copies of income and expenditure statement, receipts and payments and balance sheet. For articles and foreign security, form FC1 is to be used. This form FC4 should be certified by a chartered accountant. That is why this form FC4, that is why Prashant has seen it. Possibly in his audit office or wherever he is doing articles, he has seen a form FC4, which is nothing but utilization certificate. Means it is an extract of the SBI account and the utilization account. That SBI account should be at least who are from, it will come a detailed list with address, identity, etc. of the source, the donor. Also, utilization has to be given. For what did you utilize it? Was it utilized for the purpose? Finally, it's not. So this is nothing but that will be tallied with the assistant payments account. So that everything should be tallied. Pakka it should be. And for FC4, we certify FC4, but pakka, everything should be tallied and given. So every report submitted shall be duly certified by a chartered accountant. This form should be submitted within 9 months of the closure of the financial year. So March means 9 months. By December, you have to file your form FC4. So that is another calendar. We keep reminding our clients, hey, FC4 is coming up. So not on we won't remind them on December 28th, Baba. We'll remind them somewhere in August. September, we'll say, hey, start preparing. Give us. Better still, as I'm certifying their balance sheet for income tax, when I'm signing that 10B form, at that time itself, I will ask them, hey, finish FCRA also, give it to me. Let's find that also. Why waste? Why wait till 9 months? Now you have everything with you, do it. Part of the audit, we finish that also. So we do it. So every return in form FC4 shall be accompanied by a copy of statement of account from the bank, where the exclusive foreign contribution account is maintained by the person duly certified by an officer of such bank. Okay, bank account statement. Okay. The accounting statement referred to shall be preserved by the person for a period of 6 years. A nil report shall be furnished even if no foreign contribution is received during a financial year. I'm sorry, I'm stressing this point. So no foreign contribution this year. Nil, file nil. Where foreign contribution has not been received or utilized during a financial year, it shall not be required to enclose certificate from chartered accountant or income and expenditure, etc. with form FC4. But still FC4 has to be filed with nil. Okay, please understand this point. Because these are the type of, sorry to say, stupid questions that clients will ask. Sir, should I file, sir? No, there is no foreign contribution, sir. Next year you will get foreign contribution. Yes, we may get, sir. File nil now. That's all. So, we have completed Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. As usual, I've got another 10 minutes to go. So, in case you have any queries, doubts, questions, yes, we can discuss it. Anything? Any questions? Any queries? See, I think this 10 minutes is because of lack of much questions today. So, whenever this happens now, I'm reminded of what my guru, Mr. CAR Bhupati, past president of our institute, used to tell. Say, Srikanth, in case you conduct a class and in that class you complete the topic and you ask, have you got any doubts? Students have no doubt. Then you can have two conclusions. One, that you have explained it so well or explained it well that they have understood everything. Or you have confused them so much that they are unable to ask any questions. They have only doubts. Okay. So I hope it is the former and not the latter in today's class. So if you have no other questions, kindly just one or two of you indicate that it's all fine and then we can close the session. Or if you have any questions, do ask out of this. Of course, today's PPT and yesterday's PPT along with the arbitration PPT on 6th, I will share it with you. Okay. Hey, these are not important, Janvi. I only covered the important sections. Don't waste your time. They are all very purely procedural. If you want to glance through it in the institute material. Don't be so meticulous. This is only maximum you'll get one question out of this. Try to remember the important points. Okay. Are you confident? No need to bother about that. Don't worry. This is important. If FC receipt is not shown in FC4, will the penalty be reimbursed? What is that? FC receipt is not shown in FC4, will the penalty be reimbursed? In cases where the NGO said they have got, what is that reimbursed? I'm not able to understand your question. Who got in? What was reimbursed by MHA? I'm not able to understand your question, Mr. Prasad. Who will reimburse them? I don't know. I've not seen. I have not got any such examples of it. What is the reimbursement? What will be reimbursed? See, FCA receipt is not shown means it's an offense, Baba. You should show in FC4. Maybe you're the way you have put the question, I'm not able to understand what you're saying. Seriously. Can you rephrase it? What is being reimbursed? Just answer my question. How the penalty will be reimbursed by MHA? What do you mean by reimburse? Reimburse means they will be paid. The penalty will be paid by them and MHA will reimburse it. I'm seriously not able to understand how. I have not come across any such example. Maybe it's a little confusing. Okay. I have not come across such a case. I'm not aware of. I have not seen any such cases. Okay. NGOs say they have got reimbursed. What? Penalty was reimbursed. Penalty, why they will reimburse? They have to pay it. Who will reimburse it to them? Not able to understand this. Okay. Great. So let's call it a day and finish it. Be thorough with this, boss. What has been taught, at least to be thorough. That is more than enough. Okay? Good. Bye. Thank you. Bye. See you on 6th, arbitration and conciliation. Yeah, one second, sir. There's one question. I'll just see that. Sir, we have seen there was a penalty was levied by HA. Yeah, levied. It could be levied by MHA, but reimbursed, I have not seen. Levied, yes. If the FC receipt is not shown in FC4, definitely there will be a penalty. That is, what could have happened now? No. There would have been a penalty in an earlier year. That would have been paid. That would be reported in FC4. That would have been reported in FC4 as one of the utilizations. Yeah, that is possible. Okay, that's my understanding. Okay. Good show. Thank you, Mr. Prashant, for all those nice questions and supportive comments given. And Janvi ji and Namrata ji and Mansha, all of you, thank you very much. Good night. See you. Sir, class over, sir.